alam ko na inputs, mga insights that you have listened and learned yesterday. And this is all about the assessment activities on conducting assessment. And nowadays, it's very imperative to present to you the guidelines and policies on DepEd Order number 31, the interim guidelines and policies on assessment, in which it is temporarily suspending the implementation of quarterly exam. However, we still do the assessment. And assessment is very important in the teaching learning process, a very important component in the teaching and learning process. Maliwanag po ba ako? Naririnig po? Thumbs up ba? Okay po ako?
Yes po.
Okay, sige. Salamat po. Okay. Delivering our teaching approaches, thinking of the suited, appropriate teaching approaches, I believe will not be enough, no? If we are overlooking the importance of summative or assessment activities, evaluation activities. So this time, allow me to discuss to you the principles of effective summative assessment. And this is based on DepEd Order number 8 and DepEd Order number 31. So may mga inputs po ako dito because our webinar is about building competence, building assessment competence. No, we are refreshing, we are trying, inire-remind kayo of some insight na possible medyo nakaligtaan na natin or na overlook natin because we are very engrossed in providing the appropriate teaching episodes in our different modalities nowadays. Sana nakabasa na rin natin yung DepEd Order number 8. Nabanggit ko po yung DepEd Order number 8. This has something to do with the classroom assessment. It was issued way back 2015. No? Bakit ko binabanggit ito sa inyo? Kasi baka nakaligtaan po natin, ito ay binabasa atin para maging mag-guide tayo, malit tayo, paano talaga nagko-conduct ng assessment. DepEd Order number 8. Yan po ang Bible, no? Yan po ang Bible ng assessment activities. At sabi nga natin, a good teacher knows how to teach. But an effective teacher knows how to ask questions, knows how to assess his or her learner. Nasa akin na yung control, Sir AJ.
Yes po, pakalik na lang po, then another click. Yan, nag-loading lang siya ng konti. Then arrow keys na po.
Siguro, after 1 hour, lilipat na itong slide ko.
Okay po, next po.
Alam niyo,
next natin.
kay naman dito sa lugar na pinuntahan ko, alam mo AJ, merong ring light. Naaaninag ako. Habang wala
Okay, paklik po ng screen. Yan, ay lumipat na.
Lumipat na ba?
Sumobra po ng isa. Balik po ng isang.
Ayun, sumobra ng isa.
Di-delay lang po.
Yan, okay.
Yan, okay.
So, ano ba ang ating pakay para sa usapan natin ngayon? Number 1 is to recognize the purpose and importance of summative assessment in the teaching and learning process. Ano ba pagkakaiba pag sinabi natin summative assessment at summative test? Parehas lang ba ito? At bakit pa kinakailangan talaga mag-conduct ng summative assessment? Alam ko you have heard the rationale, no, behind the summative assessment and the formative assessment. As Ma'am
Okay, nawala si Sir sa connection. Ayan, wait po natin na mag-reconnect siya.
Ayan. Meron na ako, ano, sir? May mic na ako, no? May mic na ako?
Meron na po, meron.
Okay, sige. So kahapon mo, na-discuss yung formative assessment. ah, binigyan ng punto ni Sir Jojo, it is an assessment for learning, guiding the learners know how to learn more, leading the learners towards understanding the lesson, developing the concept. Okay, that is formative assessment. Okay, ano ba ang summative assessment? Number two, determine the principles of effective summative assessment activities. So, are we doing the right thing as we conduct summative assessment? Okay, so these are the reminders that I will tell you later on. And number three, adapt the different sample tools and techniques in conducting summative assessment in the distance learning. So, ilalatag ko po sa inyo ang iba't ibang paraan, no, mga forma, mga anyo ng summative assessment. Summative assessment as reference for computation of grade. It's not only the paper and pencil activity of the learners. Okay.
Okay po. Sir,
So,
paklik
ulit.
po ng 2 beses. Yan. Then, next na po. Since nawala po kayo sa control kanina.
Sana wag ako mahulog ulit. Nire-ready ko na yung cellphone ko eh.
Ayan.
Sakali mahuhulog.
Sige
Lumipat
po,
na ba?
Hindi
Lumipat
pa po.
na.
Wait lang natin ng konti.
Mhm. Mhm.
Arrow keys po, sir. Or yung screen mismo.
Ano nangyari, sir?
Pakalik po ng screen mismo. Okay. Ano, wala sir sa connection. Okay, sir.
Ay,
Ako na mag-next kasi
ikaw na
nawawala kayo
mag-next.
sa connection.
Sige, Paki na
Yan.
lang. Salamat.
Sige po.
Okay, paki-next. Education cannot wait. So allow me to start with this. Alam natin despite of the clamor na magkaroon ng academic freeze, hindi pinayagan ito ng DepEd. At tayo mismo, alam po yung eagerness ninyo na i-provide na yung dapat na i-provide sa mga bata. Education should continue. Learning must continue. Dapat yung pagkatuto hindi natatapos. Hindi dapat maging stagnant. Alam natin ang senaryo, alam natin ang crisis, alam natin na marami tayong personal apprehension. Disturb tayo sa pangyayari sa pandemic na ito. Pero gusto natin hindi mawala ang karapatan ng mga bata na matuto. At andun pa rin ang ating dedication, no, na despite of the challenges of this, despite of the enormous challenges, no, that we need to do, we need to adjust, we need to adapt, and we need to deliver. Nandiyan, no, ang ating pagpupursige. We still advocating that learners should learn despite they are at home. So, we are implementing the Learning Continuity Plan. And under this Learning Continuity Plan, andyan yung mga different approaches, the modalities, the synchronous and the asynchronous modalities. And sabi nga natin, assessment is a very important component in the teaching and learning process. Kaya nagbaba ng assessment procedure ang ating DepEd. Kaya ito ngayon ang pinag-uusapan natin. At ini-incorporate natin yung mga inputs, yung mga insight, mga kaalaman na pwede natin gamitin sa pagko-conduct ng assessment. So, kaya maraming salamat po sa makikinig. No? Maraming salamat po kung kayo ay mayroong matututunan. No? Ang kailangan lang naman natin dito ay attitude, good attitude. Let us try to, sabi nga ni Socrates, the one who knows is the one who really doesn't know. So kung sa tingin mo, alam mo na to, nako, hindi ikaw yung sinasabi ni Socrates. Baka kasi meron ka pang mapupulot, no? Alam naman natin, education should continue. Education is life, sabi nga ni John Dewey. So, lagi meron tayong mga learnings na matututunan. So, these are just inputs. These are just insight. Kinakailangan pag-usapan natin at kinakailangan natin isagawa. At ito ngayon, no? Ang susunod, Sir AJ. Sir AJ. Yan. Itong ating mga kabataan, ang mga learners natin, na despite of our effort that we would like to perform our tasks to teach, meron mga frustration, no? Meron talaga mga makatotohanan na nangyayari. Na minsan nangingiti tayo pag nakikita natin sa Facebook, sabi ng bata, ayoko na gusto ko na ng totoong teacher. Umiiyak na ganun yung bata. Ayoko na sa mami ko. Ang higpit magturo. Tapos si mami may dalang pamalo. At ito, no, during online teaching, I would like you to react on this, to reflect on this. What could be the implication of the pictures that you can see right now in education? You can type. Sige. Yung malakas ang loob na mag-type. Okay. Alam niyo kaya ko sinisimulan sa mga ganito para medyo mag-activate yung ating isip kasi kakagising lang natin, di ba? Umaga. So konting practice lang. Medyo nakakangiti, no? Nakakatawa itong mga pictures na to. Pero let us try to think about the implication of these pictures in the education system right now. Okay, students are fed up. Okay, numerous tasks, correct. No? Child stress, nai-stress nga yung mga bata, no? Bored, no? Burn out yung mga ibang mga bata. Ano pa? Okay, so ito yung time pressure. Ito yung challenges natin, no? Unfocused yung bata, sabi nga ni Ma'am Marian. Attention span is our concern. It's an issue. We still would like to sustain the interest of our learners and make them experience learning at home. No? Kinakailangan makipag-engage pa rin sila on synchronous and asynchronous activities that we are providing. Kaya nagbibigay tayo ng mga learning materials at nag-online tayo at yung ini-encourage natin na pumasok ang mga bata sa ating virtual class. Then we are communicating with their parents. May mga consultation, may mga intervention, and we are still planning, no? We are still doing the adjustment. The trial and error pa rin tayo na period. Nasa trial and error pa rin tayong period. At the same time, ang ating mga learners, the recipient of our teaching and learning process, ito sila, no? Nag-a-adjust pa rin sila. So tinitingnan pa rin natin kung paano ang mga bata ay kukonekta at tayo ay kukonekta rin sa kanila, no? May mga bata na hindi talaga used sa ganitong situation at sa ganitong pagtuturo. Sabi nga ng isang teacher, doon nga sa classroom na face-to-face, hirap na akong magturo. Yung mga bata na alam natin na miyembro ng mga kuratong baliling, ano pa ngayon, no? So, kaya ini-encourage natin ang mga magulang to provide home support. Ini-encourage natin ang mga magulang na nasa loob ng bahay, mga magulang, mga guardian, na tulungan din tayo. Kailangan tatlong triangulate ito, no? Si teacher, si parent, at si bata. Pag nawala ang isa rito, hindi ko makita kung paano magtatagumpay yung ating programa sa pagtuturo sa panahon ngayon. Kinakailangan talaga, no, nandyan yung home support. However, Sir AJ, next. Hindi pa po talaga nakapag-adjust ang lahat. Tama, no? Kaya lahat tayo, no, nandun sa period of adjustment. Bago sa atin lahat ito, nanganganay tayo, kumbaga. Sino ba ang makapagsasabi na ito ang appropriate na teaching approach? Ewan ko lang, no? Sa panahon ngayon, sinisikap pa rin natin hanapin kung paano tayo kukonekta talaga sa mga bata. Okay. Pero nandun yung intention. Nandun yung ating tamang attitude, no? Na makapagbigay ng wastong karunungan. At gusto natin sa anumang paraan, matututo pa rin ang bata. Tuloy ang pagkatuto. At merong mangyayaring pagkatuto sa bata. Okay. Yan na, naglabasan na yung kanilang mga point of view, mga sentiments. Okay. Ito ang ating sentimento, no? Si bata may sentimento at meron din sentimento ang teacher. Lahat na ng effort, no? Nakapag-tumbling na si teacher, nakapag-split na si teacher, nagawa niya na lahat. No? Pero nandun pa rin ang katanungan. Ito ang katanungan na tingin ko ay napaka-common nowadays. As a teacher, how do I ensure the learning part happens in distance learning? Naitatanong ba natin ito? Paano ko matitiyak na nagkakaroon talaga ng pagkatuto sa distance learning na ito sa loob ng bahay? Nagtuturo ako. Pero the activity of this teaching will be in futility if we will not assess our learners. As we plan our teaching and procedure, our teaching procedure, our instructional plan, there should be an end result in our mind, di ba? Yung bang iniisip ko, ano mangyayari after ng pagtuturo ko? Magiging fruitful ba? Magiging productive ba? At meron bang mangyayaring pagbabago sa bata? Okay, that's why we need to assess. Without assessment, this teaching will be in futility, no? Will be an act of futility. Kung hindi natin i-measure yung mastery, hindi natin i-measure yung pagkatuto, yung achievement ng bata sa ginagawa natin, baka masayang, no? Magkaroon ng mas mataas na frustration, no? Nile-level up na nga natin yung ating um, yung ating frustration level ba or yung ating tinatawag na tolerance level, no? Nile-level up na natin yun kasi sa mga experiences natin ngayon. But mas masakit isipin kung pagkatapos nating magturo, yung ating mga recipient, yung ating mga kabataan, the learners, are not learning. Okay? So, tuloy lang natin. No? Tuloy lang natin ito. Sige po. Next slide. Yan. Okay, that's why the DO number 8, the DO number 31, our DepEd would like you to have this kind of outputs out of the assessment that your learner has submitted to you. Dapat ganito ang itsura niya. Okay? Another mental activity. Ano ang masasabi niyo po sa painting na ito? Kung ito ang output ng assessment or ito ang itsura ng assessment activity, what can you say about this kind of assessment? Multifaceted. Very good, Albert Navarro. Okay, ang galing ni Sir, no? It should be multifaceted. Maraming muka, no? Isang output pero damay-damay ang iba't ibang learning competencies. Flexible siya. Ibig sabihin, dahil sa nakikita nating limited resources, sa mga limited na time na meron ang mga bata, kinakailangan yung output na ma-maximize natin. Kinakailangan yung assessment activity na pinagagawa natin, nadadamay ang ibang learning areas. At isang output lang pero punong-puno siya ng mga karunungan, no, na pwedeng isagawa ng bata. Very fruitful, no, at very productive, na hindi lang nakafocus sa isang learning area, hindi lang nakafocus sa isang learning competency. And we know for a fact, pag sinabi natin learning competencies, these are the knowledge, the understanding, the skill, the attitudes, the abilities of the learner, no, na pwede nilang i-manifest, no, pwede mag-manifest sa isang output, sa mga assessment activity natin. Okay. Nakaka-challenge ba, nakakahamon? Isang malaki bang hamon? Actually, matagal na itong ina-advocate at matagal na itong isinusulong ng DepEd. However, sabi nga natin, dahil we are used to traditional assessment activity at mas komportable tayo na ito lang ang paraan ng ating assessment activity, hindi natin nakikita yung ganitong aspeto. Pero this is the silver lining ng situation ngayon. binubukas na, no, yung ganitong pamamaraan ng assessment activity. So do not forget, I know you are good in teaching, but you must also be good in conducting assessment to your learners. Kasi practice in futility if you do not know how to assess. Next. Okay. I would like you to read this. Sige, ayoko nang basahin kasi baka mabulol po ako. Hindi. Sige po. Students' learning progress will be assessed through summative exercises and performance tasks. The ed said school will not be holding periodical examination for the school year to prevent distance cheating. What struck you most here? Ano ang alarming na salita dito? Paki-chat nyo nga. Pakilagay nyo nga sa chat box. Ano yun? Distance cheating. Diba? So alarming. Sige, okay na, magtuturo ako mabuti at mag-a-assess ako ng mabuti. How about the integrity of the outputs? Malaking usapin, malaking issue. Baka lahat ng estudyante mo nasa top 10, no? Kasi, kasi nga, gusto natin matiyak pa rin, no, that there will be no distance cheating. Ang hirap ng ating sitwasyon ngayon. Yan, the cheating. No? Sa loob nga ng classroom, nagagawa nila yung cheating na yan. Paano pa sa loob ng bahay na nasa comfort zone sila at may mga magulang na konsentidor minsan, no? May mga magulang na konsentidor na ang gusto at mga competitive na magulang na gusto nila ang outputs ng mga anak nila ay magaganda, matataas, no? Yan ang sinasabi natin ngayon, the distance cheating. So inalis mo na yung periodic examination. Pero gusto natin, as we conduct our summative assessment, we are preventing the distance cheating. So what could we do? Next, sir. Jay, next. We have to create a culture that discourages remote cheating. Paano natin sasagawa ito? So, this time around, pilitin natin na ma-imbibe sa mga bata ang honesty. There should be academic honesty. Kinakailangan without us in front of them, no? They are still doing the honesty, being honest at all times, no? Paano? Sige, mag-isip tayo ng mga konkreto. Pwede bang magkaroon tayo ng guidelines? Balik tayo, sir. Pwede bang magkaroon tayo ng guidelines na kung saan an agreement between the teacher and the learner plus the parent na they will sign on these guidelines telling them ano ang paraan ano ang mga bagay-bagay para maiwasan ng pandaraya. Okay? Alam niyo sa ibang eskwelahan, sa private school, they have this kind of academic contract, academic honesty contract, no? Ano pa? Lagi natin ipaalala na learning is more important than grades. Lagi natin ipasok sa isip ng mga bata ito. Na learning is important than grades. Let us always communicate with the parents na sana wag tayo maglokohan. Wag nilang niloloko sarili nila, wag nilang niloloko yung anak nila, at wag din niloloko yung guro. Dahil walang mangyayari pagkatuto, no? Kung pwede nga lang ang mga magulang checkan nila yung mga activities ng anak nila sa module. Kasi kung sila mang check mismo doon sa module na yon, hindi nila lolokohin yung sagot at hindi nila tuturuan yung bata. I-guide nila, no? I-guide nila, hindi ituturo yung sagot. Yun ang nakikita kong isang paraan. So, let us always communicate with the parents. And another thing is that let's have different forms of assessment activities. Kinakailangan magkaroon ng variety of assessment activities. Hindi laging objective type of tests, na true or false, multiple choice, definition of terms, mga ganon, no? Pwede ba magkaroon ng assessment na hindi ganito ang itsura? Pwede naman po, no? Yun ang ating pag-uusapan. paano magkakaroon ng assessment na hindi objective type of test. Okay. So, alam ko nakakita pa kayo ng iba't ibang paraan para ma-encourage sa mga bata, ang mga magulang, ang bahay na i-practice ang honesty, ang katapatan, no? Sa panahon ngayon at sana yun ang ma-imbibe at ma-maximize natin na 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 thinking, no? At magkaroon ng harmony between the teacher and the parents na ito ang talagang dapat na isulong, no, sa panahon ngayon. Kasi ang hirap, no, ang hirap magbigay ng grade na hindi deserve sa bata. Sige, Sir AJ. Sige, Jay. Oo, alam ko minamadali mo ako. Okay, to evaluate learners at particular quarter. Yan daw ang summative assessment. Nasa first quarter na tayo. Alam niyo ba kung kailan matatapos ang first quarter? November 15 nata, no? Parang November 15. Tapos na ang first quarter. So, therefore, if summative assessment should be done in a particular quarter or at a particular quarter, nakapag-summative assessment na ba kayo? Naisagawa niyo na ba ang mga assessment activities na gagamitin nating reference for the computation of grade? Yan, November 8 daw. Okay. Sige, November 28 po. Then November 28. Yung from Ma'am Rondilla, tama. From October 5 to November 28. So therefore, wag nating kaligtaan na tayo nagtuturo lang at inaalaw natin ang mga bata natin, mga estudyante natin na they are performing or engaging in the modules, but take note of this, that modules are self-learning materials. They are self-learning materials. Ina-accomplish nila ito, no? Kinakailangan ma-accomplish nila ang mga activities dito. Pero hindi ito ang batayan sa pagbibigay ng grade. These are all included in the formative assessment. The modules will be included in the formative assessment. Kasi itong modules na to, these are materials, no? Leading them, guiding them to understand the lesson. Kaya may mga activities. Pero in measuring their achievement, their mastery, their learning on a certain concept, kinakailangan meron ka talagang formal summative test or summative assessment. Okay? Sabi rito, summative assessment are in the form of written words and performance tasks. Okay. Yung summative test na binabanggit natin, these are the long quiz, mga long quizzes, mga unit tests, mga chapter tests. Yun po ang mga written outputs. Na i-conduct na ba natin? Okay. So I'm just reminding you. And another thing is that yung performance task, ako, may performance task pa pala. Paano natin isasagawa ito? Distance learning. Kaya may ilalatag po ako mamaya sa inyo. Kinakailangan pa palang may performance task. Hindi lang pala module. Ang module pala, no, ang module po ay hindi dapat maging batayan sa pagbibigay ng grade. Pero pwede mo silang i-compile as part ng portfolio ng mga bata. Gradean mo ito, no, bilang accomplishment nila. Pero hindi ito ang magiging end all and be all of the grades of the learner. Kapag yan ang naging batayan mo talaga, baka nasa first honor lahat yung mga yan. No? Hindi naman, no? Exaggeration lang yun. Pero iniisip ko lang, kasi may mga keto correction yan. Ang module po talaga ay merong, sa likod yan ay merong keto correction or answer keys. Di ba? So, yung integrity, di ba, ng mga sagot. Kasi ang module talaga ay ginagamit po ng mga ALS learners na distance learning. They are independent learners doing their, habang ginagawa nila yung kanilang mga trabaho, no? Kasi mga working student yung mga yan, they are having the modules. At ang mga ALS teacher naman, tinitingnan nila ang outputs ng mga modules para makita nila ano pa ituturo nila sa mga bata. Mga independent learners yan. Ang problema natin ngayon, ang mga modules natin ay hawak ng elementary, ng high school at ng senior high. Ang elementary, dun ang medyo alarming. Sino sa mga elementary pupils ang independent learners na talaga? Kung meron man, iilan lang. At ganun din sa junior high school, sa mga secondary high school, na are they used to be having this kind of self-activity, self-learning activities? Nagsiself-study sila? Okay, yan po kasi ang module. Pero somehow, we are making them used to it, ma-practice nila yung ganitong activity, ganitong self-learning activity na sa darating na panahon, kapag normal na ang lahat, meron ng face-to-face, may sasagawa pa rin natin itong mga asynchronous activities sa kanila. Next, AJ. Aga pa naman. Medyo ratsa-ratsada lang ng konti sa discussion. Pero sana meron nung merong merong mensahe na makabuluhan, no? May substance ng konti yung binibilisan kong discussion. Kasi isa sa mga suggestion kahapon sinasabi, pakibilis po ng discussion. Okay. When we talk about written works, these are the outputs coming from the written form as the learners express their skills and concept. So usually yan nga po yung mga tinatawag nating, yung iba gumawa ng Google form, doon nagtetest ng bata, or yung iba naman gumawa talaga ng long quizzes na pinasasagutan sa bata, sinasubmit in different platforms. Pero meron pang ibang paraan. They could also make another form of written works like composition, writing reflection paper, short sentences, or mga quotation. Sige, papalalimin natin yan maya-maya. And the performance tasks, these are the manifestation of their abilities in diverse ways. From the concept that they have learned, they could show them to you, demonstrate them to you in diverse way. Pwede bang written form ang performance task? Pwede pa rin po. Pwede bang tangible materials ang written task? Ang performance task, pwede rin po. Pwede bang through action ang performance task? Pwede po. No? Yan po ang performance task in diverse ways. Next. Okay. Going to the discussion on summative assessment. In the DepEd order number 8, take note, DepEd order number 8, you are encouraged, no? You're being encouraged to apply this cognitive development, the different cognitive skills of our learners. Do not dwell so much on the lower level, the remembering skill of the learner. If you are doing most of the time the paper and pencil objective type of test, most likely baka you are just measuring the remembering activity of your learners, just simply recalling facts, recalling the concept, no? Memorizing the answer, no? Because your question is always be what, no? Where, when, or through what, no? Hindi man what, pero they need to memorize, no? Baka nasa remembering part lang yan. Kung narinig na niyo yung PISA, the PISA test conducted internationally and involved in this kind of test, alam niyo ba kung nasaan po ang mga mag-aaral natin na nasa edad na 15 years old? Sila po ay pumapangalawa sa huli. Okay. Unfortunately, yun po ang naging status, no, ng ating mga mag-aaral. At ang findings ay mahina sa critical thinking ng ating mag-aaral. Medyo alarming. Na-alarm ang DepEd, maraming na nagulantang sa ganitong resulta ng PISA dahil marunong ang ating mga mag-aaral, pero pagdating sa critical thinking, doon tayo nahuhuli. So, having this kind of result, no? Kung yan ay may validity man, pero quite ano yan, quite alarming talaga. Baka kasi napapabayaan natin tayo as mentors and educators. Baka kasi we are overlooking the other cognitive skills. Baka yung ating mga assessment activities, we are not providing opportunities to our learners to go beyond the remembering aspect. Baka hindi na nila na-apply o hindi sila nakapag-exercise ng ibang cognitive skills. Like when you want them to tell something, express their ideas, reason out. So, understanding level na yan, no? At pwede pumasok dito ang performance task. And if you want them to apply, to solve something out of the concept that you have taught, then they are applying the knowledge. So, yan na ang level na kung saan yung mga ideas, yung mga guidelines, yung mga rules, mga concept, para makabuo ng isang idea, no? Or isang tangible object or project or isang output, they are applying something, no? They are applying the ideas going to the next product. And if you want them to categorize, to classify, to compare, to differentiate, to they are dissecting, characterizing the objects or the, the things that you have given to them, then nakakapag-analyze na sila. No? Hindi nila magagawa ang classification, hindi nila magagawa ang comparing or differentiating without them analyzing. Yan na po ang mga critical thinking skill na pinag-uusapan natin na posibleng hindi na isasagawa. No? Alam nyo may mga bata na hindi magaling sa memorization pero magaling sa critical thinking. Baka nadideprive natin yung mga batang ito sa ganoong learning activities. At sinasabi natin ang mga marurunong na bata ay yung mga nakaka-100 sa 1 to 20, 1 to 10, 1 to 15 na test. Pero yung mga bata na nakapag-iisip, nakapag-reason out, nakapag-isip ng malalim, no? Having this kind of higher level or higher order thinking skill, baka nadideprive sila sa mga opportunities or learning opportunities na dapat nilang maisagawa. If you're giving them opportunities, mga situation that they weigh things, no? Telling this thing is better than this, no? Judging which is better, which should be done properly, nakakapag-evaluate na sila. And when you sum up, no, the summation of this cognitive skill will allow them to create something. So when you put things together, when the learners can put the ideas together, link the ideas together, and extend the ideas on another context, then they can create something. They are in the process of creating something. Hindi man tangible yan, pero bagong konsepto, bagong kaalaman. They are learning by themselves. That is the metacognition. So yun naman ang ating, di ba? Yan naman yung ating, yung kung naririnig mo ang vision, mission ng DepEd, gusto natin na ang mga mag-aaral natin, ang mga kabataan Pilipino, ay maaaring matuto ng kanilang sarili, learning by themselves. No? Ganito ba ang proseso ng pagtuturo natin? At mangyayari lang yan, no? Mangyayari lang yan if we are providing very good, appropriate, and holistic assessment activities. Kung ang ating assessment activities will let them have this kind of learning opportunities, going to extending their ideas, going from context to context. So that is what we call metacognition. Nagkakaroon ng learning by themselves. Okay. Pasensya na po At mukhang nai-stress kayo sa sinasabi ko. Nakaka-stress po ba? Okay lang? Sige po. Chill-chill lang tayo. These are insight, no? These are things that we should ponder, no? That we should think of na sometimes baka na na-overlook natin or na kakalimutan natin na isagawa sa ating pagtuturo? Sir AJ, next. Yeah, okay. I do not know if you have heard the CPD. Pinakamalaking problema sa bata ay ang reading comprehension. Correct. No? Mamaya, pag-uusapan natin ulit. The CPD, the Zone of Proximal Development. Ang CPD na to, by Vygotsky, ito yung area, ito yung lugar na kung saan ang mga bata ay dapat tulungan. No? Dapat natin silang tulungan. They cannot do things without our guidance, without our help. At dito nakapaloob yung formative assessment. No? Ulitin ko ang CPD ay para sa formative assessment. Learning, assessment for learning. Helping the learners to learn. Kaya during formative assessment, we do the before, during, and after assessment. Meron kang drill, meron kang review, tapos during lesson proper mo, nagtatanong-tanong ka, okay, yan yung during, and then after mong mag-conceptualize, nagkakaroon ka ng formative assessment. Okay, the before, during, and after. Ganyan din ng module. Meron kang pre-test. Pagkatapos isagawa ng bata yung mga activities, meron kang post-test. Mini-measure mo ang gain nila from yung output nila sa pre-test, i-measure mo ang output nila sa post-test. Dapat mas mataas, di ba? Dapat mas mataas. Ang mahirap, baka mas mataas yung pre-test kaysa sa post-test. So, kaya ang mga writers sinasabi ko sa kanila, you make it a point, yung pre-test mo ay dapat parallel sa post-test mo. Kung 1 to 10 ang pre-test mo, dapat 1 to 10 ang post-test mo. Kung ano ang competency ng pre-test mo, yun din ang competency na nakapaloob sa post-test mo. So that when you measure, merong validity at may reliability yung resulta, or else baka hindi mo talaga makikita yung gain ng bata. Andito na may-ari ng opisina. Sir, pasensya na. Nakiupo ako rito. Well, yun po ang formative assessment. So ba't ako bumalik sa formative assessment? Kasi before you go to summative assessment, you make it a point that you are very confident na nag-guide mo talaga sila. At they can do things independently para mag-conduct ka ng summative assessment. Ang mahirap, baka puro summative assessment ka, hindi mo naman sila nag-guide dun sa CPD na area. So, the zone of proximal development should be ensured, should be established before going to the zone of actual development. And in the zone of actual development, this is the time that we provide testing, assessment, written works, or performance tasks. Hindi mo ipapagawa ang isang bagay na hindi mo itinuro sa kanila. Huwag mo sabihin, maglagari kayo. Kung hindi mo dinemonstrate kung paano paglalagari. No? Huwag mo sabihin, iluto mo itong sinigang na to. Kung hindi mo pinakita sa kanila paano ang procedure ng pagluluto ng sinigang. So pumunta ka muna sa CPD. Magkaroon ka muna ng CPD so that you are confident that when they perform the task that you're asking them to do, no? In performance tasks or written works, they have been through with the CPD in which you guided them, in which you helped them to learn whatever concept or skills that you want them to attain or achieve. Okay? And so, these are the samples. Punta tayo sa samples. Next slide. Hindi pa pala samples. Sige po. Yan. Guidelines for determining appropriate performance tasks. Nasa DO31 pa rin po. So, it heeds the application of knowledge and skills and not just recognition of concept. Always remember the cognitive process dimension of Anderson. Dati ni Bloom, yung taxonomy ni Bloom, ngayon mas pinopromote ng DepEd Order number 8 yung kay Anderson. Yung cognitive development ni Anderson. The R, U, A, E, C. R-U-A-A-E-C. R for remembering, U for understanding, A for applying, another A for application or analyzing. Then RUAA, E for evaluating, and C for rating. The RUAAEC. Okay? Kinakailangan yung mga performance tasks, mga assessment activities natin. It's going beyond, no? The recalling of facts only. Kinakailangan mag-manifest na. At yun ang mataas na learning. Learning ang sinasabi ng mga expert, educators. Learning happens when there is a change in behavior. Kung puro memorization lang yan, how could you say na merong learning na nangyari? Pero kung merong manifestation ng pagbabago, nagagawa na nila ito, nakapag-multiply na sila, nasusolve na nila yung mga set of problems, nakapag-conclude sila out of the observation process na ginawa nila, then there is learning. Pero kung kaya lang nilang i-define kung ano ang matter without having the true understanding what matter is, nasan yung level ng learning? Pero kung merong talagang mataas na level, no, manifestation ng learning, di ba? Talagang masasabi natin, there is a change in behavior. Okay, it's not limited to single correct answer. Sabi nga kahapon, no? Assessment should be flexible. Kung ang output ng bata nag-go beyond sa expectation mo without compromising the standard, then accept it. Kasi ang mga bata dynamic. Ang mga bata, wag mo i-underestimate. They can think, no? They are creative. They can think more than what you expect of them. Baka kaya pa nilang makapagbigay ng mas mataas na output. Pinagawa mo sila ng collage, no? Merong gumawa na collage pero gumagalaw pa, may animation pa. Well and good, no? Napapractice nila yung kanilang mga different skill. So wag lang tayo maglimita. Wag natin limitahan. Nandun pa rin yung objective, nandun pa rin yung standard, pero hindi na compromise yun, kundi inalaw natin. No? Naging flexible tayo. Next, AJ. Okay, it should be contextualized based on real life situation. It should be bound or within the bound of the learner's interests, learner's ideas, no? Level of experience, no? At yung mga real life problem nila, no? Mga real life situation. Huwag kang magbibigay ng something that they cannot talk about. Baka hindi nila kayang sagutan yan kasi nga ang lalim, no? Baka yung true para sa teacher ay false para sa bata. 'Di ba? May mga ganun eh. Kung napanood niyo, sabi ng bata, bakit ko pa kakainin yung pusa? Baka pumasok sa bahay at tumahay pa, no? Ganun ang understanding ng bata. Pero sabi nung yaya ata o ng nanay, doon sa napanood ko sa Facebook, hindi, dapat mong pakainin. O, hindi nagtalo pa. Bakit ko kakausapin yung aso? Yung alaga kong aso, nag-aaral pa ako, no? Maraming mga point of view sa bata, no? Na yung tanong, hindi naka-contextualize dun sa level ng understanding ng bata. Kaya ngayon, yung lahat ng sagot ng bata, sablay doon sa inaasahan na sagot ng test paper. So nagtatawa na yung yaya ata o nanay, tsaka yung bata, pero ang totoo talaga, merong sariling point of view ang bata at hindi naka-level doon sa tanong na ibinigay sa bata. It should provide proof of learner's understanding through transfer. Okay. Association of ideas, no? Going from context to context and producing something, producing an output, no? Ito yung sinasabi natin, proof of association or transfer learning. Transfer of learning ito yung transfer of learning. Okay. Maraming mga sentiments ako na mabasa sa chat. Next po. It should be multifaceted or multi-procedural. Okay, gusto kong mag-focus tayo dito. Multifaceted, multi-procedural. Kung ako ay teacher sa science, gusto kong idamay sa output ko ang math ang English. Kaya ko ba? Pwede naman. Yung output ng bata, pwedeng i-measure sa science or sa math, no? Kasi gumamit ng measuring ang bata. Gumamit ng may tinuro si teacher sa math na pwedeng gamitin para sa activity ko sa science. At yung communication skill sa paggamit ng mga descriptive words, mga adjectives, pwede rin lumitaw kapag gumawa na ng conclusion ng bata or nag-describe sa kanyang mga write-ups. Okay, nadadamay ang ibang learning areas, no? Multi-procedural. Kaya kapag nag-isip ako ng isang activity, ang procedure ko, dinadamay ko rin yung ibang learning areas. Para pag sila naman ay magkaroon ng assessment activity, madadamay din yung akin. At nakakapagbigay kami ng grade. Nakakapagbigay kami ng, nagkakaroon kami ng grades tuloy, no? Mula doon sa ibang activity or outputs na galing sa iba't ibang learning areas. Gumawa ng research ang bata tungkol sa aralin panlipunan, no? Aralin panlipunan ang lesson, pero pasok ang science, pasok ang ESP kasi lumilitaw yung mga values or sige, alam ko nakakaisip pa kayo, mataas na level ba yun para sa elementary? Pwedeng gawin ng elementary yan. Eh paano sa primary? Nakakapag-isip ka ng, halimbawa, merong isang kanta, may isang tula, pinalagyan mo ng melody, aba, 'di ba? Pumapasok ang meron ng tula sa Filipino, at pinalagyan mo ng melody, pumapasok ang mape. At tinanong mo kung ano ang value coming from that poem, pumapasok ang ESP. At meron pa rin comprehension. Tumataas ang level. Okay. Kaharap ko ngayon, Nos, ang pinaka maganda at gwapo. Sir Mike. So integrated, ano ba pinopronounce to? Integrative. Sabi ko dati kasi integrative eh. Integrative daw, integrative. It should be integrative, no? Or integrated. Tama, sabi ni Ma'am. At we are promoting the 21st century skills, the 5 C's. Are we aware of these 5 C's? Okay. Number 1 is the creativity. Second is the communication. Then the critical thinking skill. Then the collaboration or being collaborative to other learners or peer. And then the character or communication skill. The 5 C's. Pinopromote natin yan at pinapasok natin yan sa ating pagtuturo. Next slide, sir. Sir AJ, next slide. The output should have a well-established scoring rubrics. For you to become a reliable teacher, no? Na kung saan, alam mo, ang mga bata, they can sense if you are just giving grade whimsically, no? Kasi maganda ang sulat, maganda ang paborito mo ang bata, okay? Pero if alam nila kung patas ka o hindi, nakakaramdam yung mga yan. They can sense, no? But if you have rubrics, you're becoming consistent. You're becoming objective. And having rubrics will avoid you and prevent you to become subjective. Nabigyan mo ng grade ang bata sa performance task or sa anumang outputs nila using rubrics. Alam mo na yung binigay mong grade ay deserve nila, no? Deserve ng bata. At hindi ka makakonsensya, ano, na dahil mabait ang batang ito, ibinigyan mo ng mataas na score. No. Kinakailangan ang basis natin ay yung outputs. At kapag nabigay tayo ng score, it should be based on the well-established rubrics, the references, no? Meron tayong mga references of giving score. Ipapaliwanag yan sa inyo ni Ma'am EDIM mamaya. Next, these are the sample tools. The sample tools that you may use for giving assessment activities. For our languages, the Filipino and English, 40% sa written outputs, 60% sa performance tasks. See, ang laki ng performance task. Baka matapos yung ating grading period, hindi tayo nakapag-conduct ng performance task. Okay, sa mga written outputs, katulad ng sinabi ko, they may write uh, composition, no? Mga composition, mga essay, mga reflection, papers na from the movie that they have seen or that they have watched or from the book that they have read. Okay, pwedeng gumawa ng reflection paper ang mga bata. Siguro junior and senior high school or intermediate. At sa mga bata naman, sa mga primary, maikling talata, mga ilang pangungusap, 10 o 5 pangungusap na nakapaloob doon ang pangalan or yung pang-uri o pang-abay. No? Alam natin, baka sabihin, ginawa na yan ng magulang eh. Meron tayong paraan dyan, may mechanics dyan. Ipapaliwanag sa inyo ni Ma'am Edim kung paano natin isasagawa ito. Kaya nga mainam, meron tayong notebook. This notebook will be used while we are having online. Itong notebook na to ay observation notebooks mo. Nagkakaroon ka ng anecdotal records. Or meron kang checklist na kung saan sa checklist na to, nandito yung mga competencies ng bata like phonemic awareness, the word attack, the fluency, the comprehension level. Ito yung mga difficulties. Halimbawa, ang bata robot magsalita. Saan ko siya checkan? Dito siya sa word attack. Hindi siya maka-attack talaga eh. No? Hindi makapagbasa. Baka may problema sa phonemic awareness, mga sound. Checkan ko to. No? Fluency. No? Yung fluency ng bata sa pagbabasa. Dire-diretso, walang period. Checkan. So, you're assessing the learners having this kind of checklist, no? Hindi lang sa language, kahit sa ibang subject. Yung mga fundamental operation, no? Sa science, yung mga science process skill. Alam natin yan, na ang isang subject, maraming skill na dinidevelop. Katulad lang language or language arts, meron tayong speaking, reading, writing, viewing, listening, etc. No? Yan ang ating mga dinidevelop. Yan ang ating mga binemeasure. Okay? Kaya pwede ito pumaloob sa performance task. Narinig mo ang bata mag-monologue. Narinig mo magbasa ang bata. No? Nagkaroon siya nag-reading aloud siya para sa performance task. Scorean mo. No? Lagyan mo ng grade para sa performance task. Pwedeng online, pwedeng by recording. Sasabit nila sa inyo. Okay? At marami pa kayo naiisip, alam ko. Pero wag nating hahayaan na lumipas ang quarter na hindi maisagawa ito at hindi mag-manifest sa bata yung ganitong skill sa kanila, particularly sa language. Next subject. Next slide. Math. Okay. Sa mga higher grades siguro, pag turuan gumawa ng Google form, and out of the data they have gathered, they will make some analysis, interpretation, evaluation of the data that they have gathered. And once that they do the analytical thinking activity, that's mathematics. No? Set of problems na binigay mo, and then they can submit it via Messenger or Google Classroom or email. And then sa performance test naman, pwedeng makita mo, sabi ko nga, kung meron kayong anecdotal records by observing the learners, how they recite, how they answer the problem, or sa performance task na kung saan may mga manipulative objects na pinadala mo sa kanila and then they can represent the equation using the manipulative materials, yung multiplication, paano nila ipapakita ito sa mga bato, okay? That is analytical, no? Analytical activity ng bata. And then, so using different measuring tools like yung protractor, paano gumamit ng protractor para kunin ng mga angulo, yung mga angles ng triangle, yung mga different angles using the protractors or using the compass, etc. Okay? So dapat mag-manifest ito, dapat mapakita ito. At ang mathematics ay 50-50. Written outputs 50, performance task 50. Ano yung mga products? Ito yung combination ng written outputs and performance task. Pwedeng ito ang mga produkto nila. mula sa written at mula sa performance task. Next slide po. Sige, naorasak ko yung sarili ko kasi. Science, no? 50-50 rin. Written outputs 50, performance task as 50. Meron kang mga pinagawa sa bata na hindi lang puro memorization of concept, no? Pwedeng may mga science activity like meron kang pagagawang procedure, papupuntahin mo sila sa isang bakuran, papa-observe mo sa kanila yung mga halaman or yung caterpillar o ano man ang gusto mong paggawa for them to write something. Like for example, the parts of the plant para sa mga elementary, kinakailangan ma-practice nila yung observation skill, no? The classification skill, no? Ano yung mga bato na nakikita mo sa bakuran ninyo kung may bakuran sila or sa lugar na may mga batuhan at i-classify nila yung mga iba't ibang uri ng bato. Picture nila at magkaroon sila ng mga description. Output na yun, no? Ang mini-measure mo ron yung science process skill. Hindi lang sila nag-memorize, kundi nagiging scientist sila, junior scientist sila. Kasi ito naman ang dapat talaga sa pagiging sa mga mag-aaral sa science, no? Hindi lang magaling mag-memorize, kundi going to the from the problem, going to the procedure and having conclusion. Dapat maging ganon, no? The inquiry approach, the inquiry activity, no? Meron kayong sinet na problem, meron kang sinet na objective at sila mismo, no, nag-conduct ng activity using the guided using the procedures or the guide question na binigay mo sa kanila para mag-come up sila or mag-arrive sila sa isang conclusion or isang concept. That will be the written outputs. On performance tasks, habang sinasagawa nila ito, pwedeng binibidyoan nila yung sarili nila or via online, no? Synchronous, pwedeng ganun din po. Or eto nga, nakita ko rito yung product sa investigatory project. Alam nyo, pwede mo sabihin, maghanap kayo ng mga organic materials sa bahay ninyo at tingnan nyo kung ano ang beneficial aspect or component ng mga bagay na yan. Halimbawa, yung garlic, yan ba ay pwedeng maging mosquito repellent? Okay. Hindi na kayo bibili ng mga mosquito repellent na commercialized, kundi tingnan nila, investigahan nila, dikdikin nila, lagay nila sa area na kung saan maraming lamok at obserbahan nila ano ang mangyayari. At kapag nakita nila ang epekto nito, the beneficial effect nito, kung yan ay junior or yan ay senior high school, paano nila ito matatransform para maging lotion or maging pang-spray, di ba? Something like that. Kayang gawin ng mga bata yan. Do not limit the ability of the learners to think. Kasi sabi nga natin, sometimes things can be Googled. Madaling kumuha ng information sa Google. Pero sabihin na din natin, going back to the promoting honesty among our learners, sabihin natin, alam niyo po, aware ako kung ang mga sagot ninyo ay galing sa Google. Pero kung yan ay gagamitin nyo constructively, no, para makatulong kayo to come up with a new lesson or new concept or ideas, mainam. Pero kung ang sagot niyo ay galing sa Google at talagang binuhat lang para ibigay sa akin na output, so malaking ibang usapin yun. Next po. Okay, aralin panlipunan, yan ang sinasabi natin. May mga pangyayari sa kapaligiran natin na pwedeng tingnan ng mga bata, mga kamulatang panlipunan, no? Na dapat ma-involve, magkaroon ng pusong makabayan ng ating mga mag-aaral sa aralin panlipunan. No? Pwedeng paggawa mo sila ng report, no? At diyan pumapasok, no? Diyan mo integrate yung mga Filipino, diyan mo integrate yung English, no? At kung sabi nga natin sa produkto rito, pwedeng pagsamasamahin nila yung mga historical site, okay, o paggalawin nila yan, mas mainam. Or mga campaigns sa mga ordinansa, meron sila sa lugar nila, gumawa ng mga slogan or campaign. Katulad ng yung bagong ordenansa na hindi paggamit ng video okay pagdating ng alas 10 ng gabi. No? Mga ganun ba? Mga simple na nasa level ng understanding ng bata pero pwede lang gawa ng slogan. Ano ang dinidevelop natin? Yung level ng creation. No? Nakapag-create sila ng mga ganitong kampanya. Research work. Yan. Mga talambuhay ng mga bayani natin or kayo naman talambuhay ng mga prominenteng tao sa kapaligiran. Documentary, alam nyo, pwedeng sabihin niyo, oh, sige, magkaroon tayo ng yung mga grupo ng mga bata na kahit ng virtually, maghanap ng isang bahay na luma at mag-imbestiga kung sino ang mga tumirang prominente sa bahay na ito. I-document nila, magkaroon ng documentary film, di ba? Kaya yan. Lalo na yung mga nasa senior high school or mga nasa grade 9, grade 10. At matutuklasan nila, meron pala mga prominenteng taong tumira doon. Magkaroon ng mga online debate, okay? Hindi politika, pero mga isyong panlipunan. Pwedeng yan ang pag-usapan. Mga kampanya na sinasabi nga natin. At community involvement, mga civic activities na pwede ma-develop yung kanilang pagiging makabayan na damdamin. Next po. Meron pa akong 10 minutes. Next. Okay. Music, art, and PE. Balik. Yung ating ARLEN panlipunan ay 40-60. 40-60. 40 sa written, 60 sa performance task. Okay, nakita niyo ang halaga ng performance task. Pagdating naman sa MAPE, 30-70. 30 ang written outputs, 70 ang performance task. Kasi, bakit mas mabigat ang performance task? Kasi mas tinitingnan ng ating ahensya na kinakailangan mag-manifest talaga ang skill. Alam niyo, ang subject ay merong concept, merong content and skill. No? Kapag ang subject na to, mas binibigyan ng importansya yung skill. Katulad ng sa music, alam niya nga ang mga notes pero hindi niya alam kantahin. Sa MAPE, alam niya kung paano ang mga step pero hindi niya kayang isayaw. No? Sa art, alam niya paano mag-combine ng kulay. No? Theoretically, pero pag pinag-combine mo na siya at in-apply niya na ito, hindi niya alam. So, kailangan talaga mag-manifest. Mayroong ebidensya, no? Marinig mo ang kanyang boses. Makita mo paano siya sumalo ng bola. Makita mo paano siya gumawa ng choreo at makapag-exercise o gumawa ng isang sayaw, di ba? At tingnan mo yung mga drawing niya, no? Kung yung mga linya, yung kanyang creativity, no, sa art. Paano niya i-combine yung mga kulay. At sa produkto nga, ito, pwede raw pagsamasamahin yung mga art project niya or artworks at ilagay ito sa Facebook, no? Siyempre, nasa consent niya yan, no? Hindi yan, kumbaga, lagi natin tingnan yung karapatan ng bata na yung secrecy. Kung ayaw niya ipalabas ito sa Facebook, okay lang. Pero kung gusto niya naman, mainam din, no? Kasi binubus mo yung kanyang inclination sa art. Okay? Next slide po. Okay, sa edukasyon, pagpapakatao. So ang tinitingnan natin yung value, yung damdamin at saloobin ng mga bata. Katulad ng kapag nagbibigay, ito ay 40-60, no? 40 written, 60 sa performance task. Binibigyan natin ng importansya yung saloobin ng mga bata, mga pananaw ng bata, yung values ng bata, mga pagpapahalaga ng bata. Halimbawa, meron sila narinig na kanta, mag-react sila roon. Nabasa ng mga write-ups, mag-react sila roon. Mga artworks, mag-react sila roon. No? They can do it verbally, orally, or in written form. Or sa performance task, paggawa mo sila ng kanyang vision goal, ano ang kanyang vision sa buhay, paano niya isasagawa ito, at ano ang mangyayari pagdating ng panahon. Nakikiram na lang ako dahil tinawaan pa ako. Okay, mga situational analysis, you give them opportunities no, to tell them, tell what they feel on a certain situation. No? Kung saan doon makikita yung value ng bata. Okay, yung mga situational analysis. Nawala tuloy yung gusto ko sabihin. Munti ko na nabasag yung ring light ni Sir Mike. Sige po, next subject. Next slide. The EPP and TLE. Ito ay 30-70. 30 sa written outputs, 70 sa written performance task. Okay. Nakagawa ng design ng bata, sinabit sa iyo. Okay, that is written outputs. No? Yung kanyang mga design para sa paggawa ng folding chair. No? Paggawa ng kanyang mga produkto. Dinesign niya ito, sinabit sa iyo. So that is written outputs. Hindi ka lang naka-angkla lagi at nakabata o nakadepende sa puro objective type of test. Pwede naman kung ganito ang outputs sa written. Sa performance test naman, dapat mag-manifest, makita. Tulad ng sinasabi ko. Kung ang tinuro mo ay paano maglaba, pakita nila kung paano yung procedure sa paglalaba. Kung ang tinuro mo paano mag-nuts ng mga electrical wire, ipakita nila ito sa inyo. Hindi lang produkto, pero pa-record mo sa kanila. Yung mga technology ngayon, mga gadgets ngayon, di ba? Halos lahat ng bata, halos lahat ng bahay mayroong cellphone. Ilan na lang siguro ang wala. So, ang ganda ng ating technology. Dati kinakailangan mo ng camera, ang dami mo kailangan ngayon kasi isang cellphone, no? Nandun na lahat, nakapaloob na. So, yun, magagawa nila ito. Mabibidyoan nila ito kung paano mag-tie ng nuts, mga electrical wiring, paano maglagarin, sinasabi ko nga sa inyo, paano mag-design, paano magluto, nung sinasabi natin na itinuro ninyo. Okay, pwede nyo ipagawa. Kailangan mag-manifest. Kaya nga 70% ang performance task sa TLE. Okay. Huwag lang tayo nakabate lagi sa theoretical na aspeto. Kinakailangan makita ito sa performance task. Okay, next slide po. 5 minutes pa ako. Next slide. Yan. On the strategic scheduling of assessment activities, usually this how our class program look like, no? Ganito itsura natin class program. Merong synchronous, meron asynchronous. Pero what do I mean here? I'm pointing out that whenever you conduct synchronous, do not just allow yourself to talk more. Kinakailangan magkaroon ng manifestation, magkaroon ng performance task. Schedule strategically kailan naman ang bata ay maririnig mo, makikita mo. No, hindi lagi ikaw. So i-maximize mo yung synchronous period mo. Ganun din sa asynchronous. Hindi lagi nakadokdok sila sa module. Sabi nga natin, ang module ay self-learning materials. May mga activity diyan na sabi nga, minsan redundant na. Pero do not forget na magbigay din kayo ng pang-performance task na activity na labas do sa module. At itong performance task na to, pwedeng isubmit sa linggong ito or kung nakikita mo medyo mahirap, submit sa susunod na mga linggo. Just always think that your task should be doable, simple and doable. And the more it is doable, the more it is better. Kasi kapag hindi naging doable yan, ikaw mismo si teacher, hindi mo kayang ding gawin yung pinagagawa mo, ipagagawa yan kay tatay, kay tito o sa kapitbahay o sino man na pwedeng gumawa. Tandaan natin mga bata ang kaharap natin at pinagagawa natin sila at because we want good outputs. We want them to learn. No? Always think that aspect na ang output nila ay produkto ng kanilang pagkatuto. Hindi ang output nila ay dahil gusto mo magkaroon ng presentable at magandang output. Kahit hindi maganda yan, basta nagkaroon ng pagkatuto, ang involvement, mas marami sa bata. No? At ang tulong, kung meron man, ay konti lang sa tatay o sa nanay. Mas mainam. Okay po? So what I'm telling you here is that do not forget that you need to conduct summative assessment. And when we say summative assessment, it should be written works and performance tasks. Next slide. Next slide. Hindi ko na pagagawa sa inyo ito. No, supposed to be this your breakout session that you will think of integrity performance task, siguro sa inyo na lang mga co-teachers, no, mag-isip kayo ng performance task. Ito ang challenge ko sa inyo, na kung saan this assessment activity where learners are able to produce outputs that promote assessment for different learning areas. No? Pwedeng mag-branch out yung ating output sa iba't ibang learning areas. Next slide. Okay. My parting words. My hope is that our new normal today exposes what was wrong with our old normal yesterday and sets us up for a better normal tomorrow. So there is a disruption na nangyari. Nagulumihan tayo, naligalig tayo. And ang mga teachers ay resilient, no? Marami tayong kahit tayo mayroong mga personal apprehension, mga personal concern. And despite of this, no, we are resilient, we are dedicated, and we need to perform our tasks to teach, di ba? Ito yung sinumpa natin tungkulin. Nag-adjust tayo. No? As we adjust, we are evolving. Yung hindi dati marunong gumawa ng PowerPoint, nakakagawa na ng PowerPoint ngayon. Yung hindi gumagamit ng mga technology, gumagamit na ngayon. You are evolving. And as you evolve, this is the silver lining of our situation right now. We are becoming better teachers. And with that, thank you very much for listening. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, salamat. Everyone, welcome to the new normal. Okay, at least I know how to do it na. Okay, that is sabi nga ni Sir Ardy. There is always a silver lining amidst these trying times. And I know this webinar of ours is a silver lining amidst pandemic. Thank you very much, teacher, for joining us. And my topic for today is about the O31 Series 2020. And the title is Interim Guidelines on Assessment in the New Normal. Okay? Sir AJ, please. Salamat. Loud and clear na, sir. Sir AJ?
Yes po, ma'am. Yes po.
Okay, thank you. At this point, I would like to share to you the things or the tasks that we need to accomplish at the end of this session. It's already 9:11. By 10:11, I'm done. Okay? We will review DepEd Order 8, Series 2015. The guidelines that you've been using since 4 years ago. Last year. Okay? Then I will guide you through and familiarize sa guidelines ng DepEd Order 31, Series 2020. Then after that, we will perform sample computations of final grades using the guidelines under DO31 Series 2020. Will that be okay? Okay, thumbs up po. Ayos, okay. There are 772 participants. Therefore, I am positive. I know that these 772 participants will really try to participate sa kanilang mga bahay so that all of us will be guided, will be familiarized with this DepEd order. Okay, let's start. Allow me to start with a saying from Thomas F. Monson. Oops, ang bagal ng ating batang tumakbo. Talagang naglalag siya. Medyo mabagal yan. Siguro kulang ng push. Okay, nakaabot na siya sa finish line. Sabi ni Thomas S. Monson, when performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported back, the rate of improvements accelerates. Teachers, I want you to pick 4 important words that you think we need as we proceed with our topic for today. Jot down those words, type those words sa inyong chat box, and identify words, no, that you think it's important in our topic for today. Yes, Ma'am Cheng.
Yes, ma'am.
Performance.
Ma'am,
Wow, there are 772 answer.
while nag-chat po
Accelerate.
sila, ma'am, tutok po sa ibang gawi ang electric fan po natin. Yan, sa
Okay.
lower
Ayan.
top.
Salamat, Sir AJ, for guiding.
Okay po.
Okay na?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay na.
Wow. Performance improvement. Very good. There are 773 answers from teachers. Ang galing. Thank you very much. That is true. We have performance. Yeah. We have measured or measurement, improvement, and reported back. That is correct. Accelerate. That is correct. Ron Royal Ellie. And the rate, of course. Therefore, it is but true that these words are important in our topic for in the discussion of our topic for today. Thank you very much, teacher. Masasagot ba ng quotation na to ang mga tanong na is measuring performance important? Or is reporting back or giving feedback important? What will happen if we provide feedback to the students or to the parents? Di ba? Kaya niya, di ba? When performance is measured, performance improved. When performance is measured and reported back, the rate of improvement accelerate. My dear teachers, may this be our guiding principle so that we can try to listen, understand, learn more about DO 31 2020. Thank you very much po. Let's move. Okay? Galing na. Sarafin Molina, feeding back essential in learning process. That is correct. That is correct po, ma'am. Leia, feedbacking, they will know what to improve. Thank you. That is correct. They will improve their performance when they provide feedback. True enough po, Ma'am Leonila Flores. Okay, let's proceed. DO8 Series 2015 or Policy Guidelines on Classroom for the K-12 Education, Basic Education Program has been our guiding principle. And still, we will use these guidelines today. Therefore, let us review some words na ginamit natin ng DO8 Series 2015. We will review them. Okay, let's start, Sir AJ. Okay, let's recall. Kunyari, synchronous class tayo, ha? Yan. Synchronous na nga. Okay, let's try to recall our activities entitled Which is Which. Okay, number 1, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Is it a general average? B, a weighted score? C, percentage score? D, final grade by learning area. Gumagalaw ba? A, general average. B, weighted score. C, percentage score. D, final grade by learning area. Wow, there are 774 answers.
Yan.
And they answer some D and some A. Tingnan natin ang sagot. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Divided by 4 is the final grade by learning area. Palakpakan natin ang mga nakakuha ng tamang sagot.
Palakpak pala, palakpak.
Part. Horizontal, na? Doon sa card. Horizontal part, then divide by 4, that's the final grade. Okay, let's have number 2. Which is which? Total raw score, when you have your raw scores, tama? Total ng raw score times highest possible score, the total highest possible score na binigay nyo, times 100. A, general average. B, weighted score. C, percentage score. D, final grade by learning area. Tingnan natin. Total score. Oh, there are 772. Ay, some answer C, some answer B. Okay. Tingnan natin. Okay, let's recall back. Anong sagot? The answer is C, percentage score. Okay? Di ba remember? Later on, we'll discuss that. Okay, next, number 3. Ito na. The sum of final grades, vertical to, of learning areas, total, divided by the total number of the learning areas in a grade level. Wow! All of the 774 participants answered letter A. Tama ba yon? Is that correct? Yes. Oh, itutuloy pa ba natin? Alam nyo na. Okay, very good. Very good po. Yes daw, yes. Ituloy po. Okay, number 4. The last one, of course. Okay. Here, the percentage score times weight of the component. The answers be general average, weighted score, percentage score, or final grade by learning area. Yes, people, dear teachers, congratulations. The answer is B, the weighted score. Okay, thank you very much. Therefore, we have this weighted score, percentage score, general average. These are the things that we're going to discuss later on as we proceed. Okay? Okay, let's start. Now, let's proceed to my topic. The policymakers today siguro thought of that they need to provide a guidelines that is tailor fit and will give a way, a just way, a fair way in computing the grades or giving the grades to the student in these trying times, in this pandemic. They thought of guidelines that is tailor fit in this kind of pandemic, in this new normal, in this new system. That's why they were able to come up the DO31 Series 2020, the interim guidelines on assessment under the new normal. But basically, these are the two things na gagamitin natin, that this DO8 2015 and DO31 2020, pareho po nila natin gagamitin at susundin ngayong new normal. Okay? Next. Sir AJ, now let's start with grading. Okay, grading is the way of reporting assessment data by assigning a value to the result as a record of students' ability, achievement, or progress. It is the way to evaluate students' learning at particular point in each quarter. Summative assessment should continue in form of written works and performance task. That is what we meant by grading, no? Giving value to the result. Kanina, nagawa na po or na-discuss na po ni Sir RD about summative test. Kahapon, na-discuss na po ni Sir Jojo about formative assessment. We have summative assessment, formative assessment. Now, we need to give value to this, to the result, to the output. Siyempre, we give value by, siyempre, we have to provide an established and clear rubric or scoring tool. We use the rubric to give value, to give justice and fairness in analyzing, in grading the student. Okay, next. Sir AJ? Okay. Summative assessment includes written works that assess essential knowledge and understanding. Therefore, you can give quizzes, unit tests, or long tests. Then we have performance task that allows learner to show what they know or what they can do or what they can able to do. Therefore, they will pass innovative products, skill demonstration, group presentation, oral works, and of course, written output. Pwede po yun sa mga storytelling or mga essay. Now, these outputs po need to have a very clear scoring tool. Kailangan may rubric. Then, this output po, we need to have a record, a systematic record, a process of recording. Di po ba? Kailangan naka-record sila ng maayos. Okay, next. Later on, we will know why. Bakit kailangan ng maayos na pagre-record? Then, we need to record them. We need to compute them. We need to compute them properly, correctly. Now, why is it so? Feedback and remediation. These are the things that benefit student learning, both formative and summative assessment. Must be accompanied with timely, constructive, and meaningful feedback. Once na-record na po natin ang mga outputs ng bata, whether written or performance task, we need to compute them, right? And then after that, after computation, or kahit before computation, makikita natin if the students keep on producing a score below your expectation, you need to give what? Meaningful feedback. You need to report or to inform the student or the parent. Di po ba? Okay. And then teachers should also ensure that learners receive remediation. Now, my dear teachers, how can we, hindi pwedeng bring mother ngayon, how can we then give feedback? How can we give feedback to the student or to the learners or to the teachers or to the parents? Paano? Anyone who would like to say how will you give feedback? Through Ma'am Clarissa Baron Messenger. Group chat. Ay, very good. You have group chat. No? May parents kayo, group GC ng parent. We can message them through GC. Very good. Now, yes, people. Yes, Marian. Through call. Ayan, may nabagastos pero maayos yun. Through calling. Through Messenger. Thank you very much, Ma'am Donna. Now, these are the things that we can do. And thank you for exhausting those effort. For extending effort, for exhausting all the resources in order to give feedback. And private message or private, thank you very much. And when we will, ito naman, after giving feedback, kailan tayo magbibigay ng remediation? Sa DO8 2015, it is a must that we give remediation. Week, tayo, no? Sa every quarter. Di po ba? Ang sagot ni Ma'am, when is the right time to give remediation? When can we give remediation? When? Kailan? Pag nalaman natin na medyo kailangan ng bata ang help, ang assistance. That is the time. After the evaluation, pwede po yun, Ma'am Leonila. As per need arises, sabi ng Cynthia, Ma'am Jasmine, after the assessment, yes, that is correct. Therefore, we can give remediation and we can give feedback. That is correct po. That is the time when we give feedback and remediation. That is the time, teachers, my dear teachers, we are providing technical assistance sa bata. We are providing a real help to the student. And that is the time we can really make a difference. Okay? Remember, sabi nila, when you give feedback or return back yung kanilang performance or kanilang mga accomplishment, the rate of acceleration accelerate. The rate of their improvement accelerates. The rate of their improvement accelerates. That is correct. Believe me, it will. Konti man ang difference pa rin po yun. Okay? Thank you very much po for the answer. Let's proceed. Okay? The grading system implemented in this interim policy provides reasonable leniency to learners who are put to larger disadvantage by the pandemic, but at the same time does not compromise the integrity and principle of assessment and grading. The interim guidelines or DO31 Series 2020, very high, na binanggit po doon that there should be leniency. Leniency means understanding, Ano pa ba ang other word sa lenient? We should be lenient, considerate, but still does not, being objective, that's good, does not compromise the integrity and principle of assessment and grading. We can be lenient, we can be considerate, but still just and firm. We can be, kumbaga, we can consider the things that they're doing, we can consider yung kanilang mga sagot na late, medyo nag-provide ka ng extension sa kanilang binigay na performance task, but still just and fair. Okay? Next po. Next slide. Medyo mabagal lang ng slide natin, ano? Talagang parang ano siya. Nakalagay sa akin, your internet connection is unstable. Okay? Ito na po. Written works and performance tasks shall be administered to assess the content and performance standard that describe the knowledge and abilities that learners are expected to demonstrate. Therefore, we have two components today to this new normal, written works and performance task. And this, I think, is enough to measure the knowledge and skills and ability of the learner. Kayang-kaya nating basahin ng bata. Sabi nga ni Sir Ardy, multifaceted. We can give written works and performance as multifaceted. Pwede sa lahat ng angulo. It can measure most or many things. Okay? Next po. Okay, grading system now. Also, I think this is the most important. This task could be designed to include the following. The student learning portfolio. Ano ba ang laman ng portfolio? What are the inside? What are the things that is found in the portfolio of the students? Ano-ano po yung pinalalagay nyo sa kanilang mga portfolio o sa kanilang mga, ano ba tawag doon? Folders. Teachers? Anong meron? Their outputs. Anong mga outputs yon? Compilation of reflective sheet. Tama, Merly, Ebonites, Ma'am Merly, Ma'am Serafin, the reflection activities. Yes, yung mga ginawa nila sa module. Worksheets. Yes, that is correct. Ano pa po? Mga written outputs din. Nasa portfolio. Best output. I think that is best output. Therefore, the portfolio itself speaks about the student. Diba? Artworks, written output, the portfolio itself, my portfolio. I also have my portfolio. I know teachers, you also have portfolio. Your portfolio speaks of you. It defines you. Ganon din sa estudyante. It speaks of the student. It defines the student. Therefore, portfolio. They are very important in this system. Okay. Now here, look at this. There must be 4 minimum works and 4 performance tasks within a quarter. Remember that. 4 written works, 4 performance tasks within a quarter. You can have more than 4 or more than 5. Pwede po yun. Ilalagay yun sa portfolio ng bata. But why is it hindi pwedeng isa lang? Bakit hindi pwedeng dalawa lang? Bakit kailangan 4? And it should be minimum eh. Why? Ikaw yung teacher, can you evaluate a child? Is it just kung isa lang ang kanyang performance task? Isa lang ang kanyang written works? Do you think it's just or reliable? Bakit ginawa sa guidelines na dapat 4? Dapat more than 4. Anyone? Out of 7? Yeah. Sabi niyo, Mary Grace, para makabawi pa ang bata if ever na mababa ang score niya sa una, which is correct. And that is a help. Remediation agad siya. You cannot, to see the consistency. Come on, yes, Mary Joy, that's correct. To see the consistency that this bata is doing this consistently, that is correct. Para ma-validate ang performance, Ma'am Clarissa Barion, that is correct also. To validate the performance of the student. Awa, galing na dito. Tingnan ko nga dito. And it's not fluctuating. Therefore, that student is doing good talaga. And for more reliable, yes, for more reliable evaluation. More sample, more basis of performance. That is correct. The more sample, the more basis. Therefore, the make chance, pwede ring one grand performance task to see. Yeah, that is correct. That totoo po yan. Thank you for your additional inputs, moms. Talagang kayo ang nasa field, you know such things talaga. That is correct, no? All those are a good way na to justify why 4 written words and 4 performance tasks is very much needed. Okay, at it is a help talaga sa bata. Now, letter C. All competencies should be covered by performance task. Lahat ng subject area must covered by performance task. Why? Kasi po yun ang component natin. May mga subject area pa nga po na ang taas ng kanilang performance task. Ang TLE 70. Therefore, if you want to help the student, if you really want to help them at these trying moments, you give them performance task, a just, fair performance task. Katulad po ng diniscuss at binigyang example ng ating mga previous speakers. Also, there can be a performance task that can be used to assess more competencies like science, math, English, all together in a certain topic. You can do that. Kaya nga multifaceted, multi-angled. Okay? Let's try to next. Thank you. Let's proceed. Yes. Ito po ang importante, my dear teachers. Ito ang importante. For current school year, ngayon pong 2020, quarterly assessment shall not be administered. Wala po tayong quarterly assessment. Wala po tayong periodic test. However, you can use the date allotted for quarterly exam kasi po nakalagay sa DepEd Order 7, Series 2020, sa school year calendar natin of 2020-2021, yung part ng quarterly exam. You can use that sa ibang mga gawain or ibang activity. Or, kunyari, major performance for a quarter that addresses performance standard. Okay? Remember, let's review. Under DO8 Series 2050, tatlo ang components. We have written works, performance task, quarterly exam. Ngayon pong DO31 Series 2020, dalawa na lang po ang components, written works and performance task. Okay, let's start. Okay, next. Let's have, ayan, dito po. Saan napunta ang quarterly exam? Yung kanyang percentage. Quarterly examination were given a weight of 20 during DO8 2015. But now, since it will no longer be part of the grading system this year, its previous determined weight was distributed equally into written work and performance tasks. Meaning, napunta po sa dalawa nating component. Dinagdagan ng 10% each component. Okay? Later makikita nyo. Okay. Let's start with this one. Okay? Kuha na po. Dear teachers, kuha na po. Thumbs up po. Kuha na po. Ma'am Divina. Okay po. Ma'am Divina Dasio. Yeah, thank you. Kasi nakikita ko sa monitor. Thank you. Now, let's proceed. The weight distribution of the summative components per learning area for grades 1 to 10. Thank you. Okay, tingnan po natin tong table na to. There are two components, written works and performance task. But their weights differ sa tatlong grupo. Languages, AP, and ESP, written works have how many percent, Sir AJ? Ching! 40%. And the performance task is, diba, dapat 60%. Yan po sa language, AP, and ESP. Okay? Yan po siya. Sa science and math, the written works is 50%. And the performance task is 50%. Okay? Then, sa MAPE, EPP, and TLE. Okay? Written works is 30, performance task is 70. See, why differ? Bakit iba-iba? It is because the measurement of their knowledge and content sa written works, sa languages and science, medyo mataas, di po ba? Pero the same with performance task. Sa EPP po, we measure much more of skills. Their knowledge, their talents, their abilities, di ba? And then that is the reason why we have 70% for their performance task. Yes, Mamias Chameleon. Other subject requires skills development. That is correct po. At nadun po yun sa MAPE, EPP, TLE. Di po ba? Na-discuss nga po yun ni Sir RD na maraming activities, maraming skills na need to develop sa mga ibang areas. Okay, next. Now, sa senior high school po, same thing. Dalawa po ang component, written works and performance tasks. Core subjects, we have 40-60. Academic and technical book, they differ. Magkaiba po sila. Okay, sa subject nila, they have 40-60, but sa kanilang work immersion, research, business, enterprise, we have how many? Look at the breakdown, 50-50. Okay? Sa technical book, vocational, livelihood, other subjects have 30 and 70. Oh, alam naman natin, pagdating sa TLB book, sports and art and design, it's more of a technicals and skills. Okay, next po. Aha, let us try. Oh, everybody, siguro nandiyan yung inyong calculator. Ito ha, tingnan natin po. Paano po sa mga estudyante? O later po. Okay. First step. Let's add. We have here highest possible score and then learner A. Ito po, mag-ano tayo. Then, the first thing to do is, anong gagawin muna natin? Kasi we will try to compute for the grade of learner A under language or AP or ESP. What is the first thing to do? Nasa DO8 Series 2015 ito. Ano una nang gagawin? We need to add the raw scores. Raw scores. O, 18 plus 20, add the components, add the score. Sige po, ano po ang sagot natin? We have Ma'am Fe. The answer is 77. Let's try it. Okay. Add the score. Check natin, Sir AJ. Salamat, Sir AJ. Okay. Then, after adding the scores of written words, what is the next thing to do? We need to score divided by the highest possible score times 100. We will give percentage score. Okay? Ayan po. Learner's total score divided by the highest possible score times 100. Okay. The answer? Balik tayo doon, Sir AJ. Uy, sabi ni Donna Lara, 91. Tama ka, Donna. It's really 90. Is it 91? Sir AJ, kaya? Okay, it's 91. Yes, ma'am. Therefore, what will then is the next step? We need to get the weighted average. How to do that, Sir AJ? Show them the screen. Okay, eto na po. Percentage score times the weight of the component, which is 40. Okay? Will give us the weighted average. Sa DO8, it is the weighted score. Pareho po sila. Okay? Let's check. 36.4, sabi ng Esmeralda. Ma'am Lara, is it 36.4? Okay, check natin. Okay, that's it. 36.4. Okay, let's then proceed to the performance task. Ano po ang grade sa performance task? Total score is 12 plus 10 plus 19 plus 15. 56. Is it correct, Sir AJ? That is correct. Now, let's get the percentage score. How to do that? Again, total number of score divided by the highest possible score times 100. The answer is? What is the answer? 75. That is correct. Same procedure. Totoo po yan. And then let's get the weighted average. Weighted average. Weighted average. 75 times percentage score times 0.60. We get 45. Okay, that is correct. Now, how to get the initial grade? You add the weighted average of the written and the weighted average of the performance will give you, yeah, Ma'am Violeta, you add. Sige, Ma'am Violeta. Ma'am Camille, 81.4. Okay, my question is that 81.4, yan bang ilalagay nyo sa card? No, sabi ni Ma'am Carlo Fernando. No. Anong ilalagay natin? 81 daw, sabi ni Ma'am. Okay. Ano ilalagay natin? No quarterly grade is no transmute. Very good. We need the transmutation table. We need to transmute. Okay. Ayan na po. Ang 81.4 or 81. Nasaan siya? Okay. Therefore, what is the grade now? The final grade. The grade is 88. Yes, Maria Bernadette Gladys Toledo, it's 88. Okay, sir. Now, my question, is that the grade that you will place, or you will write sa kanyang card? Yung bang lalagay sa, yes, that is correct. Whole number. That is correct. Yes, sir. Yes po. See, now you know how to. Same thing po yun ng ating DO8 2015. It's explicit. I do, we do, now you do. Okay, next slide, Sir AJ. I want you to, people, teachers, 767 of you, I want you to compute for the initial grade of learner A. Math, Science for grades 1 to 10. Yung unang makakapagbigay ng initial grade, ito Sir AJ na tayo, yung unang makapagbigay ng grade, you will have 100 peso load. Kaya lang, is it okay that 100 peso load should be given to your student na sa tingin nyo, kailangan nyo on? That 100 peso load ay ibibigay nyo sa estudyante nyo na think na kailangan. Do it for me. Okay? Salamat po. Okay, let's start. Who will? Sa grade 67.82, si Ma'am Warren Mancio. 67.82, tingnan natin. Okay. Let's start. 67.82, may nag-start. May nauna na, no, Sir AJ?
Yes po.
Yes. Okay.
Charang ko lang.
Let's start. Okay, thank you.
Bale,
Sino
hinahanap
siya?
po natin is initial grade.
Oh, initial grade. Yes, yes, sir. Yan. Yan din ang sagot ni Ma'am Annalisa. Yeah. Pero sino kaya nauna sa kanila?
Bale, yung una po sumagot is si Ma'am Angie R. Romero.
Okay, Ma'am Angie.
Nasagot po niya is 67.82, but let's check.
Check natin. All. Okay. Check po natin ang mga 77 plus 91 plus that is 45.5, 56, 75, 30. Oops, nabitin tayo doon. Sa initial grade, we have 60. We have 83. But kaya 83 ang initial grade. 45.5 plus 37.5 is 83. Tama. Sino yung nakakuha ng 83? First 83.
Si Ma'am, si Ma'am Esmeralda L. Tolentino unang nag-chat ng 83.
Yeah,
Pinicturean
Esmeralda
ko lang.
Tolentino, give the cell number ha. I-chat mo yung cell number mo, Esmeralda Tolentino. I will papadala tayo. Parang si Willie lang, si Kuya Will. Papadalang kita ng 100 peso load and please give it to your student na sa tingin mo kailangan niya yon. Kahit isang araw lang. Okay? Kahit isang araw lang makaano siya. Okay, 83. That is correct. Why 83? Kasi 50% na po ang ating science and math. 50% na po ang kanyang component. 45.5 plus 37 plus 37.5 is 83. Now, what is the transmuted grade kaya ni learner? Ang sabi ni 89 ni Ma'am Julie. Tingnan natin, Sir AJ. Meron daw 89 dyan. 89. That. Very good po, Ma'am Catherine. Everyone na nagsagot ng 89, tama po. It's 89. Okay? Isa pa. Okay, let's start. Okay, this time, it's TLE naman po. And MAPE. Okay. Sige, same procedure. Iba ang component. Please be mindful of the component, doon sa percentage component. Kasi medyo iba-iba po ha. Doon tayo medyo magkakamali. Kahit na ano po, kailangan tama yung nilalagay natin percentage component. Okay, who got the first correct answer? Initial lang po, initial. First correct sa initial grade. Who wants? 79.8. Okay, try natin. Sir AJ, let's try. Check natin.
Okay po.
Okay, initial is 27.3 plus 52.5, 79.8 or 80. Okay, sino kaya unang nakakuha ng 80 or 79.8? 80. First. 80 or 79.8?
Okay po. Ang una nag-chat sa 79.8 or 80, initial grade will be 79.8. Si Sir Carlo Fernando pa din. Ayun po yung tanggapin natin.
Sir Carlo Fernando, kindly chat your cellphone Kahit i-ano niyo po kay Sir AJ yung cellphone niyo. Okay? That is correct. 80 or 79.8, and the transmuted grade of it is, or the final grade is, ano kaya? Based on sa transmutation table natin. Okay, we have 87. That is correct. Okay? Next natin. Meron pa ba? Okay na po, sir. Maayos po yun. Please be guided, Ang pinaka-importante po is yung weight ng component. Iba-iba po ang weight ng component ng languages, languages, tapos in science and math, iba siya. And TLE, MAPE, iba rin po. Kaya be careful with that one. Okay? O sige. Sa grading system natin, okay, let's proceed. See. The transmutation table, which is in Appendix B, kung titingnan nyo po, you're going to visit DO8 2015, ang transmutation po sa Appendix B shall still be used in this grading system. Okay? Kaya get a copy of that o kaya basahin na po yun. And then ito pa po ang maganda. Ito pa po. What's more? All the guidelines on learner's progress report sa mga reporting, sa paggawa ng card, sa pagsulat, that it should be whole number. Yung MAPE dapat when you add MAPE, music, art, PE, health, divided by 4, you get the final grade for MAPE. Nandun po lahat. As well as the promotion and retention. Remember po, the student must have 75% transmuted grade in order to pass the subject. Pag lahat siya, napasa niya ang subject, promoted siya sa next grade level. Okay? Pag may dalawa siyang kulang, according to DO8 2015, meaning below 75 ang kanyang transmuted grade, ano ang dapat gawin niya? Ano gagawin natin? Dapat siyang kumuha ng remedial exam or remedial class, right? Remedial class. And then, ganun din. You will provide written works and assessments sa remedial class niya. And then, kailangan niyang ipasa. Once napasa niya yon, promoted siya. Pero once hindi niya napasa ang kanyang remedial class, yan. Medyo, dun ulit siya sa next sa level niya. Retain. Ayan, word is there, retained. I don't want to use the word retain. Ewan ko ba kung bakit. Mariretain siya. 3 below the 75, retain as well. Okay, nakalagay dito, Sir AJ. Paki-flash daw po yung transmutation table again. Baka, okay. 4 yan eh. Okay. Yan po ang transmutation table. Don't you worry, nasa ano po yan? Nasa DO8. Opo, tama Ma'am Florence, EDIM. Nasa DO8 yan, 2015. Okay, ayun na si Ma'am Florence. Okay, let's go. Next. Okay, let's try. Now, is this DOA 2015 really okay? Really effective? Will it answer the queries, the concern of this trying times of this pandemic? Hindi po natin alam. Pero that is the reason why we have monitoring and evaluation. The regional office and the division office will jointly monitor the compliance of school with these guidelines. CLMD of region, CID of division shall diligently collaborate with each other, ensuring that the provision of this policy are complied with. Okay? Sila po ang mag continuously monitor. Okay, Sir AJ? Then, sa school level, meron ding evaluation po. The implementation of this policy shall be monitored and evaluated at least once every quarter by school head. School head shall prepare a quarterly report that includes challenges and issues encountered throughout the policy implementation. Therefore, when you give feedback, it is important for you to give feedback. Honest and honest feedback, no? So that this feedback will be collated and it will, next po, lahat po ng feedback nyo, lahat ng experiences, naka-compile po yan, at the report shall be submitted sa SDO for collation and analysis. SDO will then prepare a biannual analysis report, sasabit naman po sa regional office. Sa regional office po, dadalhin naman po yan sa central office. Bakit po? Bakit dadalhin sa central office? Ayan. Yan. Overall feedback from regional office shall be provided to the DepEd Central Office to be used in evaluating policy for continuous improvement of its design and implementation. Therefore, mahalaga po ang inyong feedback. It will also be used in improving the design and system of LCP, which may be useful should there be arising challenges in the future which are analogous to COVID-19 pandemic. Pero wag naman po sana. Okay? Sana, kumbaga, wala na. Okay, next. Po. Next po. Sorry, next po. Okay, next. Now, ito. This order shall take effect immediately upon its approval and shall remain in force and in effect for duration of 2020-2021. Okay? Next. Meron pa akong sound? Okay.
Yes po, meron po.
Yes. DO8 Series 2015. Okay. Please, be guided, DO8 Series 2015, the policy guidelines in classroom assessment for K-12 basic education program is still in effect. But its provision inconsistent with this guideline are suspended for upcoming school year. Yung pa rin po tayo. Okay? DO8 Series 2015. Lahat lang ng changes na nabago sa DO8 31, 2020, yun din po ang gagawin natin. Pero slight lang po kung makikita natin yung change. Okay, let's start po. Next. Okay, so AJ, okay na? Ayan. Okay. Ay, ito na po ang breakout. Sige, itry natin ang isang breakout activity. But at this moment, tatlo po ang question ko or gagawin natin. We want you to compute for the first quarter grade of Learner A in English. Then I want you to ito medyo analyze the performance of Learner A. You need to check the output of Learner A in 4 written words and 4 performance tasks. Then, this is the most important thing. Since we are going to give feedback, and feedback is important, how can we help Learner A improve his or her performance? How can we help provide technical assistance to Learner A to improve or accelerate his or her performance? Okay, sync, ano po tayo? Yung unang makakasagot po, yung sagot talaga na all,
Lahat.
lahat po ng tanong should be given a chance to unmute ba, Sir AJ?
Yes
Ang
po, yes
kanyang
po.
mic. And the same procedure, yung pong ating usapan na pwede kayong magbigay ng 100 pesos sa inyong estudyante na nangangailangan.
Kung sino po unang mag-me sa chat, me
Yun
lang.
po.
Type nyo lang, me. Then, sagutin nyo po yung questions 1, 2, 3, and yung initial grade. Ayan.
Pali parang ano lang 1 and 3 kasi analyze is more of an
Mag-unmute po kayo ng microphone nyo. Ayan,
si
si Ma'am
Kiel Arolado, Sir
Kesil.
AJ.
Ma'am Kesil? Kesil or sir?
Kesil
Si
ba?
Ma'am, yan, nakita ko, Ma'am. Ma'am, nakita ko po.
Kesil, okay lang to share your answer.
Mag-unmute po kayo. Mag-unmute po kayo, Ma'am Kesil.
Kesil?
Ma'am po. Ma'am, kita ko yung picture niya.
Nakikita mo siya,
Yan,
Sir
ma'am. Go
AJ?
ahead, ma'am. Yung picture lang po sa icon.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ma'am Kesil. Naka-unmute na po kayo.
Hello, Ma'am Kesil.
Hi po.
Anong school ka, Ma'am Kesil?
Rodriguez po.
Iris. Shout out sa
Yes
mga taga-Iris. Okay. Sige, ma'am. What is your computed grade? Initial po.
For the initial grade is 80.6.
Okay. You can say the total if you want to.
For the total, we have 98 in written works,
Yes.
and then divided by 100. Sorry.
Yes, Ma'am Kesil. Okay, written works, then performance task. Ano po yung total ng performance task? Hello?
For the total, 98.
Yes. Go.
And then we have 98 divided by 108 divided by
Yes.
100.
Okay, what's the initial grade?
7. I have different initial grade.
Yes, ma'am. The initial grade is?
8.
Hello?
It should be 81.
81. Sir, okay. Sir James, paki-check po natin. Pwede tayong pakita yung answer. Then, Ma'am Kesil will answer the third one.
Ito po.
Yan po, ang sagot. 6782. Check nyo po. 25, 20, 18, 20. Check natin. Yeah.
98. 98 divided by 108.
Oo. 6782, Angie. Tama, Angie Romero. Okay? Okay lang yun, Ma'am Kesil. Okay lang yun. Baka naano ka sa but still, you can answer number 3. Kasi ang kanyang initial grade is 6782, 79. How can you help learner A? Hello, Ma'am Kesil.
Yes po.
How can you help learner A improve her performance?
Okay, as I have analyzed the written work,
Yes, thank you for the word analyze.
most of his scores or her scores are in half.
That's true.
So, like number 5, 50, he only got 25. So most probably it is more on the written works. Also the same with the performance. So both, I think, categories for the written works and performance are very low.
Okay, what do you think you
I
will
should
do?
provide activities based on his or her level, so that at least he or she can answer it easily.
Okay.
And for the performance, it is also has something to do his or her interest,
Yes.
in order to become flexible and lenient. So maybe I can give self-reflections,
Yes.
so that she or he can anchor to the his or her experience will be anchored to the melts.
Tama. Okay. That is correct, Ma'am Kesil Arolado of Iris. Thank you very much for sharing that one, ano. Ang ganda nung sinabi mo na uh, technical assistance that you will give to the student sa kanyang written works, no? And performance tasks. Thank you also for letting them, you will give, you will let them redo, no? Redo the performance task to reach their learning target. Okay, thank you very much, Kung Kesil. Please chat your uh, telephone or cell number to Ma'am Sir AJ. Thank you very much. Okay, let's have another, excuse me, you total the score, then you get the percentage score by 98 divided by the total number of score is 160 times 100, you give 61.25. And that 61.25 times the component, the weight of component, which is 40%, you will give weighted average or weighted score. Then you add the weighted score of written and performance task, you will get the initial grade. Okay? Then transpute. Thank you. Let's have isa pa. Another one. Let's have activity breakout number 2, Sir AJ. Then we'll have, okay. See? Okay. This time, let's have science. Or remember, iba ang ating percentage score, ha? Percentage ng component. Sorry. Component. Weight of component. Let's have, who will be the first one? Same thing po. May nag-mina, si Angie. Meron na ba yon? Ma'am Angie Romero.
Okay
Siya ba yung
po.
una, Sir AJ?
Opo, siya po yun naman. Ma'am Angie. Ay-unmute
Angie.
namin. Angie. Naku, dalawa yung account. Pero sige, yung isang account yung unmute ko. Ma'am Angie, go ahead po. Dalawang account
Hello
yung...
po, good morning.
Good morning, Ma'am Angie Romero. Anong school po kayo? Para kung may microphone, hawak ko yung cellphone.
From E. Rodriguez Vocational High School po.
Well, dami nyo yata sa E. Rodriguez na participants. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you very
so
much. Meron pa dito mga go, Ma'am Angie. May mga ganun pa ikaw. May
science
mga
po.
cheerleader. Okay.
So, kukunin po muna yung total. So, yung
Tama.
total is 25 plus 20 plus
Score.
18 plus 10
Yes.
is equals to 98.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 98 po yung total. And then yung percentage score is 61.25.
Yeah, okay. Real time tayo, ha? Real time.
Yes,
Talaga nga,
times
very good. Sige.
61.25 times 0.50 para makuha po yung weighted average.
Yes.
The result is 30.61.
Mm-hmm. Okay, listen. Okay, good.
Okay, so
Go ahead,
proceed
ma'am.
performance task. So again, kukunin po yung total. The total is 65 and then divided by 90 para makuha po yung percentage score. So the answer is 72.22.
Mm-hmm.
And then the weighted average is, which is 72.22 times 0.50, 36.11.
The
And
initial
then para
is?
po initial grade, so i-add natin yung weighted average sa written works and then performance task. So this result is 66.72.
Okay. That is correct. Check natin, Sir AJ. The real time, 66.73. That is correct. And the quarterly
Yes.
grade is 79. The thing is, nasa transmuted grade naman 66.73. Meron silang
So the result
transmuted,
is
di ba? Okay. Meron silang, oo. Kaya okay lang na mag-ano po ang inyong Now,
Okay, so
number 3.
bali 79 po. Okay,
Ayan.
so how can you help learner B to improve his or her performance? So mapapansin po
Yes.
natin yung performance po ng bata is medyo low. So, low po yung naging result ng weighted average niya po. So, puwede po tayong, mag-assign po ng special task sa bata.
That's good.
So, puwede
That's
po
good.
siguro assign
Mm.
special task and so yung sabi nga kanina na puwede nating, ipagawa ulit yung, activity sa performance task.
Mhm. You
We
can
do the
add, no? So
activity.
that they can reach
Yes,
the target. Oo.
yes po.
Especially if there's a lot of time. Lalo na pag may time pa tayo talaga. Okay.
Yes po.
Thank you,
So,
Ma'am
that's all
Angie.
po.
Oh, thank you very
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
participating. Thanks very much. It's true. Therefore, we can realize here, no, that we are not just recording numbers. We are not just recording percentage. We are not just recording numbers, percentage, or giving such a value. We are here to analyze and to help. Wala po sigurong kwentang malaman o ma-record natin yan kung hindi natin i-report back sa bata or sa magulang. Hey, mami, ito po ang performance ng anak nyo. Whether mataas, whether mababa, lalo na siguro pag medyo failing, we need to give feedback. We need to report back. That is the only time we can help them in this pandemic, in these trying times. Therefore, malaking bagay po. Ma'am Florence EDIM will talk about feedbacking later on and the rubric. How to give feedback. Napaka-importante po yung particular process na yon to give feedback. Okay, let's start. Sir AJ, we will not do 3 and 4 na. I think it's okay na po. And let's proceed. Meron po tayong 3 and 4. My dear teachers, I want you to remember na ang proseso ng assessment is just like a sandwich. Alam niyo po yung sandwich, may tatlong bread, dalawang bread, may side A tsaka side B na bread. Tama ba? Pero side A, tapos yung palaman, yung masarap na chicken spread or peanut butter jelly. At pangatlong layer is another bread. Sandwich po yan. Ihalin tulad ko lang po ang assessment process sa sandwich. Isang bread, yun po yung ating assessment. When we develop assessment. Pag nagbigay tayo ng written quizzes o long test, written works, or performance task, yun po ang ating bread. Therefore, binigay ni Sir RD at Sir Jojo at ni Ma'am Rose Aranza Mendez. Paano gawa ng maayos, mahusay, at very effective and authentic na assessment, the performance task and written task or written work. Yun po ang ating unang bread. Ang susunod po yung palaman. Ito po yung ating recording, giving value, no? Using rubric to provide very just and fair scoring tool sa bata. Ito po yung the way we record every output of the student. Ito po yung pagbibigay natin ng value sa kanilang mga grades. Ito po yung maayos na computation. Fair and just computation. And then, ang susunod po na side, yung side B na tinapay, ito po yung feedback. Ito po yung reporting back to the student and to the parent na kanilang performance. Sandwich siya. Okay? We have development, lahat ng ito. Then after that, feedback. Pag kinain niya ng bata, pag binigay mo yan sa bata, presto. It can really make a difference. Maliit man yan, it can really make a difference. In short, my dear teachers, 753, assessment is about teachers and not about students. It's about you. It defines you as a teacher. Yan po ang sabi ni Deepa Bhushan. And then, let's have this. When in doubt, do not hesitate to ask, especially nowadays. And let's try to review again DO8 Series 2015 and DO8 Series 31 Series 2020. Why? That is our Bible for this moment. That is our Bible and our guiding policy. This one. Okay? Maraming pong salamat po sa lahat po na nag-participate. 753 of you. Marami pong salamat. Don't you worry, everything will be okay. Alam niyo po, I know you're doing so much. You're doing so much. Alam po namin yan sa Division of Office of Manila. At alam ko, lagi niyong pinaparating ang pagkatuto sa bawat batang Manileño. Teacher po nagsabi niya, paratingin ang pagkatuto sa bawat batang Manileño. Maraming pong salamat. And time, 10:15. Thank you very much po.
Okay, I want you to align your thinking on the principles first. Paano ba ako pag gumawa ako ng assessment? Ano ba yung una kong gagawin? Tama ba yung ginagawa kong assessment? So, kailangan pasok sa 5 principles na to. Okay? And before anything else, I want you to be part of my talk. Okay? Although, I started around 10:16, I'll be ending at 11:16, but you can participate by unmuting your microphone or just write your answers in the chat box. And then I'm going to ask Ma'am Pebele to record the scores of the teachers because I'm giving away 86 titles of inspirational book coming from a bestseller, Joyce Mayer, for the top scorers. Okay? Siyempre, kung ano yung binigay ko sa District 1 to 4, ibibigay ko sa District 5 to 6. Nga lang, sa District 5 to 6, I'm going to give 5 to 5 teachers. Okay? So, top 5. Okay? So, let's begin. So, first, assessment should be, ayan, unang-una, kapag gumawa ka ng assessment, it should be holistic and authentic. Holistic, ibig sabihin, ibang klase ng dimension ng bata kaya mong i-measure. You don't need to just go on measuring just the knowledge. Okay, you have to measure on the different dimensions. We have what we call multiple intelligences, right? And we are creating future musicians, future artists, future doctors, future scientists, future politicians with conscience. Yan. So iba-ibang klase ng bata yung kine-create natin. So dapat we will address where they are good at and we have to capitalize it. That's why we have to go for holistic assessment. Say it again, holistic. And then of course, authentic. Authentic means, yan, very crucial sa pedagogy itong term na authentic. Napaka-popular niyan sa industry and even in the academe. Why? When you say authentic, that means real life. Real life situation. Paano ba yung real life? It's something na nakikita ng bata. It's something that the parent knows. It is something that the parent is aware of. Okay? So, sa bahay, maraming real-life assessment. For example, nagbumili si nanay ng pizza, hinati sa half, hati kayo ng kapatid mo, o kalahati yan. That's what, okay? And then, sige, i-share mo pa yung kalahati ng half sa isa mo bang kapatid, o 1/4. Diba? So, you are testing the concept of fraction on half, 1/4, and 1/whole. So, halimbawa sa sinampay, alin dyan ang kulay puti, alin dyan ang kulay pula. So, nakikita sa bahay yung assessment. Okay? It is something that is authentic. Assessment is integral for understanding student learning and development, which means we don't need to assess on one dimension, but on all types of assessment. Okay? Lagi kong sinasabi sa mga teacher ko, kailangan iba-ibang klase ng assessment provided by the CARB, the Classroom Assessment Resource Book. And of course, it should be variety. Napakadaming klase. And we have to really record them. Okay? And this is the heart of my talk. Assessment and feedback should be a shared responsibility among teachers, learners, and their families. So which means we have, alam nyo, talagang we were like raised in a world where yung honors grade is a measure of success. It's not. Because usually yung mga may honor ng bata, sila yung medyo failed sa buhay. Dun sa research may napatunayan na ganun. Pero yung mga nasa middle class, yung middle performer, yung mga below, sila pa yung mga street smart o yung nagtatagumpay sa buhay. So there's something wrong in the way we nurture children. Okay? So kailangan i-inculcate natin sa magulang that they're part of the learning process, and that's why we have to advocate academic or intellectual honesty. Intellectual honesty, sa isip mo, alam mo kung anong tama at mali, pero pinipilit mo ang tama. Pinipili mo ang tama. Yun ang magandang perception sa magulang at sa bata. Di ba? Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, Mami, ikaw ang gumawa niya, no? Di, syempre, ang galing-galing ng grade ni Mami. But then, what will happen to the skill of the child? The parent will become more confident if the child is the one who do the work. Okay? Kahit mali-mali pa yan, kahit hindi perfecto yan, at least you see the progress of the child through the effort of the teacher and of you. Okay? So, it should create a positive impact on learning, not the end to the means. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na self-assessment destroys confidence level. It should not destroy the confidence level. Okay? So, look at the principles before you make the assessment. Okay? Let's move on. Now, these are my objectives, all in verbs. I'm going to teach you how to construct analytical and holistic rubric. I'm going to teach you to apply the techniques in giving feedback on a specific assessment activities. Marami tayong assessment activities, but it requires the right feedback. Will it be oral? Will it be written? Will it be peer? Or will it be self? Okay? Demonstrate the utilization of proper recording methods. It's very important. We have to capture all the learning experiences, right? We capture all the learning progress. And it cannot be captured by mere e-class record. Okay, so we have to use assessment results to improve learning. So yung apat na yan, tatapusin natin by 11:22. Okay, so welcome District 5 and 6. Now, these are the materials. Ayan, pag gumawa ko ng assessment, kailangan may Bible ako. Ito, DepEd Order number 31, Series of 2020, may copy ka niyan. At meron din tayong Classroom Assessment Resource Book. Yung mga dati kong teachers, meron yan. Kasi it offers a lot of strategies, informative assessment that you can apply in the new normal. Okay, yung mga hindi applicable dyan, i-check mo sa DO31. Pwede ba to? Yan. Kapag hindi talaga pwede ang face-to-face, you can use yung sinasabi ni George Borromeo na ICT. Okay? You can use ICT as a medium for assessment. It also gives a lot of rubrics. But my goal is for you to make your own rubric. Diba? Oh, ma'am, kaya ko nang gumawa ng rubric ko eh. So I'm going to teach you how to test your own rubric. So I will present later on the rubric that will test your rubrics. Okay ba? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Everyone. Ayan. Hello, Marisa from Arroyo High School. Ay, hindi sila marunong mag-thumbs up. Ano ba yung thumbs up? Okay. May kausap pa ba ako o nawala ako sa buhay? Ma'am Pe, okay po ba ako?
Meron ma'am, dito na ako ulit.
Ayan, akala ko iniwan mo ko, AJ. Na-miss kita, charot. Okay, ito bunso. Okay, now, we have to construct holistic and analytical. Yes, Sunny, thank you. Hello, hello, hello. Construct holistic and analytical rubric. We have to have measures of learning. Ma'am, kahit simpleng response yan on, for example, on recitation can also be measured by rubrics. How much more if it's a big task, which is, for example, an investigatory project, a collaborative work, a research paper, or a paragraph by everything should be tested by measurable means, which is the use of rubrics. Okay? So, good morning, Ma'am Jobel from Lokban. Okay, so what do you mean by rubrics? AJ, please. Yan. A rubric is a useful tool that helps teachers make consistent judgment about the quality of learners' work. Consistent judgment. Okay, when you say consistent, in all angles, the parent will not question you. Ay, subjective. Subjective ang teacher. Parang hindi niya paborito yung anak ko kaya ang baba ng grade kasi hindi ako nagbibigay ng pandesal. Yung mga ganon. So, hindi kayo mako-question ng magulang kasi consistent ang judgment mo. Parang pag sinabi, good morning Myra, pag sinabi, bongga. Okay? Now, let's have the three criterion. Three criteria. Okay, a rubric is a scoring guide, usually presented in horizontal or vertical format, and it defines what is expected in a learning situation. So wag kang gawa ng rubric kapag hindi mo tinitingnan ng milk. Kailangan nasa most essential learning competency siya and gives meaning to learners' level of performance in an authentic assessment. Okay, authentic assessment. Paano po kung ang bata ay pinag-order mo ng pizza using a telephone or pinag-report mo sa 911. Okay, so you're measuring the English conversation skills, you're measuring the ability of the child to converse, okay, and to negotiate meaning. That's authentic assessment on a real life situation. Okay, so it also answers these three questions. What do we want learners to know and be able to do? Mahalaga yan. The most essential learning competency will tell us. And then how well do we want learners to know and be able to use a skill toward understanding a concept? Saan mo ba hanggang gustong i-measure? Is it on the content only? Or are you measuring the skill only? Or are you measuring the both? Okay? Pwede rin. So it depends on the range of the rubric that you use. That's why I'm encouraging you to make your own rubric. Okay? So how will teachers and other scorers know when a lesson or concept, okay, if the learner knows a concept and does an activity well? Yan. Paano mo mamalam, ano pa bang area ang kailangan niyang i-improve just to be able to accomplish a certain tasks? Okay? So when we measure learning's performance, we can measure it by a qualitative means, and we can also assign a quantitative measure to it. Pwedeng proficient, adequate, limited. Pwedeng exemplary, good, satisfactory, factory, or needs improvement. Pwedeng distinguished, proficient, apprentice, novice. Okay, good morning, Marian Vasquez. Good. It can be fully correct answer, partially correct answer, wrong answer, or no answer. So lahat ng task na ginawa nyo, kayang i-measure ng rubric. At ang rubric kailangan ibinibigay sa bata before the tasks. Ito, class, this is how I want you to be graded. Do you want to be included in the assessment process? Do you want to be graded? Sige nga, ma'am, please include beauty in my work. O sige, we will include aesthetic or beauty. So we'll have, sige, we'll assign 5% for that. Okay? So ano pa? Ano pang gusto nyo? I-measure kayo. Ma'am, please measure on the teamwork. Kasi yung iba pong mga kaklase ko, baka hindi naman tumulong. So kailangan may measure din ng teamwork. Yung kanila bang contribution sa group. Sige, ilagay natin. So if you are going to include the suggestions of your learners, you are including them in the learning process and they will like it because they're part of the assessment. Okay? And then we can also measure the quantitative one. Pwede mong yung proficient, 8 to 10, or exemplary, 47, satisfactory, or below 3 needs improvement. Research says na yung mga 5 ranges of measure, hindi ganun kaganda. So, kailangan yung 4, ayan. Kasi, pag 5, kasi yung it's so difficult to measure in the middle. Okay, ano ba siya? Bagsak ba o pasa? So, pag 4 lang ang mahahatulan mo agad. Okay? So, those are the qualitative and quantitative measure. Okay? So, ito, maraming types of rubrics available over the internet. But DO31 and the Classroom Assessment Resource Book only emphasizes on the two, holistic and analytical. Let's move on to holistic, yung description ng holistic. It emphasizes the relation between parts and whole. Ayan. Parts at saka whole. It assesses learners' work as a whole, isang kabuuan, using the criteria. Is he proficient? Is he adequate? Or is it limited? To describe the whole output based on the analysis of the parts. So ano ba yung gusto mong gawin? I-decide na ba kung ano ang grade nila sa in totality? Or gusto mong tulungan sila sa progress ng paggawa? Let's move on to analytical. So analytical is whole output, ito yung kabuuan, separated in its parts accordingly. So it's an assessment component of a finished product. However, determine mo. Halimbawa, parang sa Miss Universe yan, no? Paano ba magpadala ng kandidata sa Miss Universe? Ganda niya. So, bilagay ko 30%. Overall impact, ganda naman, okay naman, maganda naman rumampa, sige, poise, confidence, 20%. Pero nakalagay 30% sa intelligence. Sa tingin mo, medyo kulang pa sa iodized salt yung kandidata. So, yun ang kailangan i-improve mo bilang coach. So, magpo-focus ka ngayon sa intelligence. Yun ang i-build mo sa kanya para maging total Miss Universe siya. Kuha nyo? So, yun yung analytical. So, analytical sa progress ng paggawa. Yung holistic, kabuuan. Alam mo, itong bote na to, paano gumawa ng bote na to? Yan, kung ano yung itsura ng bote na to, kabuuan, holistic yun. Pero kung gusto mong makita kung paano ginawa yung bote, yun ang analytical. So, depende sa gusto mo, di ba? Bongga? Okay? So, halimbawa, ito si Sean. Yan. Si Sean, nakagawa ng investigatory project. Ang isa, mineasure through analytical rubric, at ang isa, mineasure through holistic rubric. Okay? So, which do you think is the best measure of Sean's work? Anyone? Can you say me? If you say me, we will unmute your microphone and we will call you. We will give you score. Come on. Ano maganda sa work ni siya? Nakagawa siya ng isang robot to clean the house. Yan. Ma'am Clarissa Barion. Clarissa from EDSES. Tama? Clarissa, ano magandang rubric yan? Analytical. Clarissa, bakit analytical?
Wala pong microphone si
Anyone?
ma'am. Wala pong microphone si ma'am Clarissa.
Ay, walang microphone.
Kita ko po dito
Okay,
sa...
si Deodeline Doton.
Meron po.
Okay, Ma'am Deodeline. Then we will follow it up with Maria Elena Lopez. Okay?
Ma'am Deodeline, you can unmute. Ayun po. I'm asking you to unmute. Ayan, nagpakita siya ng video.
Yes, Ma'am Deodeline, come on.
Yeah, ma'am. Ayun, ma'am.
You are from what school?
From Rojas High School.
Wow, ma'am, from Rojas High School. Kapitbahay ko lang. O sige, ma'am. Bakit ano pong gusto niyo, ma'am?
Analytical. Gusto kong malaman kung paano niya nabuo yung project. Kung ano yung ginamit niyang proseso.
Tama. Analytical para sa inyo, ma'am, kasi gusto mong malaman kung talagang siya ba yung gumawa.
Yes.
Opo. Tapos kung paano para madali mo siyang i-remediate kung may mali, hindi ba? Yun, magandang point yun, ma'am. Okay, good. Who else? Sinong nagsabing holistic? Can you say me? Sino nagsabing holistic? Can you say me? Porque maraming analytical, ayaw nyo mag-holistic. You can defend your answers. Come on, everyone.
Ayan. Sino po mag-volunteer for holistic?
Holistic. Sino masabing holistic? Bibigyan ko ng puntos. Please give a point for Maria Elena Lopez. Give her 3 points. Okay. Yes. Who else? Wala. Ayaw nila. Come on, wag kayo mahiya. Yung mga teachers ko. Cathy, andyan ka ba? Okay. Cathy from Lukban. Kala mo hindi kita makikita. Cathy, anong gusto mo? Mas specific, Jason Fortaleza from Sikat. Jason.
Ayan po. Pwede po kayo mag-unmute, Sir Jason.
Igutin yung beauty ni Jason. Yan.
Morning
Jason,
po,
anong answer mo, Jason? Dali.
For me po, holistic.
Holistic. Bakit, Jason?
Kasi po, ma'am, mas makikita po natin mas specific po yung mga skills na nandito, ma'am. Unlike po dun sa analytic, we have like 10, 6, 3 lang. So, medyo mas kailangan po natin makita kung talaga bang it's an excellent, satisfactory, fair, or poor yung kanyang gawa.
Yun, hinusgahan mo na agad. Kasi nakita mo may robot na no? Very good.
Yes,
okay?
po.
So, holistic is also acceptable. kung gusto mong ma-measure yun ng buo. So, sige, let's give Jason 3 points. Okay? So, actually, it depends on you, teachers. Walang tama at maling sagot. You can use both analytical and holistic. Tama si ma'am kanina sa Rojas High School. Analytical kasi gusto niyang gabayan ang bata habang ginagawa yon. Pero, kung gusto mo talagang makita yung overall, holistic. Okay? So, pwede mong i-present yung dalawang rubric sa klase. Okay? Kasi ang mga bata, doon lang magpo-focus sa rubric na ginawa mo. So, very good scores. Okay? So, nicely, Ann, siguro ang maganda holistic ay may revision. It may needed to improve a robot project. Very good. Okay? Let's give you 2 points. Actually, yes. Okay? You can make revisions. Okay? You can make revisions on the rubric. For example, limited ang score niya. So, pwede niya pang ma-improve yun. Okay? Yan. So, holistic daw, daming skills na nade-develop by Josefina. So, I will give ma'am 2 points. Si ma'am Josefina, holistic, daming skills na nade-develop. Okay? Good din, holistic, kasi you can have multiple sources of criterion. Okay? 2 points. Okay? So, the objective, yes, I like this. The objective will guide you if it's holistic or analytic. Very good. That's 3 points for me. You got what I'm trying to point out. Depende sa gusto mong palabasin. Going back to the principles na sinabi natin kanina. Okay? Nasa MELC ba siya? Nasa most essential learning competency. Kapag gusto mong i-measure ang content at skills, you can measure it through rubrics. Okay? Good. Okay, very good. Abby Aranza Mendez, analytic rubric can be used for formative and summative assessment. Holistic is typically used for summative assessment. Okay, yes. Usually, it's common for summative assessment. Okay, however, it can also be used for formative assessment. Depende yon. It depends on the objective of the teacher, okay, on what the teacher wants to do. Okay? Very good. So I'll give Abby Aranza Mendez 3 points. Okay? Yes, Mark. Holistic is applicable for multiple intelligence. It can be, but also multiple intelligence can also be measured through analytical rubric. Okay? Parang hindi lang writing ang mineasure mo, pati yung reading ability, pati yung spelling, pati yung vocabulary range. So on all aspects. Okay? Very good. Okay, so good. Okay? Yes, you want to recite, Ma'am Celeste Resente? Come on, can you please unmute her microphone? AJ?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, I'm Celeste Resente. In research, I'm using holistic rubric because it consists of single scale with all the criteria to be included in the evaluation considered. So in research, I'm handling research in senior high school, grade 11 and 12. I have to consider the clarity, organization, and mechanics in research, especially the output. So with a holistic rubric, the rater assigns a single score. I usually have the 1 to 4 or 1 to 6 point scale based on the overall judgment. So for the analytical, I use analytical rubrics naman. Is example in my EAPP class in English or in science subjects, wherein I have to put the purpose. I have 1 to 4 skills, needs improvement, developing sufficient and above average. And also what is good for analytical rubric is it provides useful feedback on areas of strength and weakness. It's also an advantage to have a criterion can be weighted to reflect the relative importance of each dimension, ma'am.
Oh,
Thanks,
very good.
ma'am.
Yes, exactly. Very good. So you know now how to use the rubric on a particular skill or dimension that you have to focus on. Okay, very good, ma'am. I'll give you 3 points for that. Okay. So, Ma'am Cynthia Adalia, both are applicable to measure the capability of the child to do the assigned task. That's good. I'll give you 2 points for this. Okay, so ngayon naliwanag na sa inyo ano yung analytical, ano yung holistic rubric. Magpapakita pa ako sa inyo kung paano gawin ang rubric para sa mga bagong teachers. Okay? So first, we have to determine the learning outcomes. Are you assessing a process? Kagaya ng sinabi ni Ma'am kanina, Ma'am Celeste. Are you assessing the product or are you assessing the whole product? Yung buong research na mismo. Or gusto mo silang tulungan on the process. Depende yan sa gusto mo. Pangalawa, decide. Are you going to use holistic? And are you going to use analytical? Okay? Sa classroom assessment resource book, binibigay doon ng detalyeng paraan kung paano gawin ang holistic at saka analytical rubrics. Okay? So, you have to identify the learner's performance. Okay? You have to reflect on the learning outcome. So, most importantly, lagi kong sinasabi yan, you have to measure, ipasok ang MELC, yung most essential learning competency as criteria in the rubric. So you have to weigh the dimension in proportion or importance. Okay, so when you make a rubric, especially for English teachers, no, sometimes we get disappointed if we see a lot of grammatical errors or errors in capitalization. Kaya lang, kailangan syempre, so we put a lot of red marks. That will never help the child grow. Okay, we have to remember that writing is also a psychological process. Okay, so that's why if you want to measure grammar, you have to put it only in one dimension of your rubric, not the whole aspect. May content naman yung bata, tulungan mo lang. I'm not saying you have to be blinded with the content. I'm saying is that while aiming for proficiency in lexical or lexical accuracy in pragmatics, lexical is the use of words. The pragmatics is the structure of the sentences. We have to go for uh, to let the child write the content. That's it. The tasks. Okay, policing will follow. Okay, and there's hope in green ink than in red. Okay, so determine the range of points to be allocated to each level of performance. Kailangan maliwanag sa bata. Paano mo hinati-hati ang scores? Okay? So let me give you another example. What is this one? What is this kind of rubric? Is it holistic or analytical? Sige nga, first three correct answers, I will give 2 points. Cathy, a holistic rubric used to assess learners' overall achievement. Okay, based on predefined achievement levels, while analyticals allow you to assess learners' achievement based on multiple criteria using a single rubric. It can be one dimension, one holistic dimension. Very good, Cathy. You're speaking like you are a graduate student already, turning into a PhD. So 3 points for you. Okay, Cathy, holistic. Joanne, holistic. Clarissa, holistic. So 2 points for each. Okay, so this is the sample holistic rubric. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The first 3 correct answers, I'll give points. Please capture it, AJ. Yan, anong klaseng rubric po ito? AJ? Oh, very good. Analytical, si Charmeline, Gina, and Jason Tuban. Okay, analytical because there's criteria here. And then, of course, this criteria will measure individual aspect. Okay, good. Okay, now let's move on further. How about sa Filipino, isang graphic organizer? Rubric sa paggawa at presentasyon ng graphic organizer. Ito yung isang klase ng rubric. Ang kagandahan nito, naglagay ka ng pansariling refleksyon at puna ng guro batay sa rubric. Maganda rin yun na palawigin mo kung paano pa may improve ng bata ang kanyang performance. Yan, kasi may mga bagay na nakita mo na hindi din na-measure ng rubric na kailangan na points for improvement ng bata. Okay? How about if you will just give question and then the child will just explain. Ma'am, halimbawa ginawa nila essay. Ito yung kind ng rubric. There's a level of performance, there's a criteria, and there is a model answer. Siyempre, ikaw yung gumawa, kailangan magbibigay ka ng model answer. Similar to IELTS, TOEFL, there's a model answer. And an applicant who will present an ideal to the model answer will get, of course, a level of performance which is higher than the usual. Okay? Kasi doon lang sa paradigm na yon, sa perspective na yon. So, iba-ibang klase ng rubric ang pwede nating i-measure sa performance ng bata. Is it clear? Whether it's holistic or analytical, saan mang klase ng performance, it's best that the child should have a rubric. Okay? Yan. So, meron pang no basis, pag no answer, meron ding nakalagay sa rubric. Eh, hindi mo paborito anak ko eh. Kaya nilagyan mo ng 1, 2 brief. Paano po isang sentence lang nagagawa niya? Okay? Pero if you're going to promote technical assistance and help, of course, you have to help the child build these sentences into continuous sentence supporting each other, okay, through the guidance of the main idea. Okay, now let's move on. Ayan. Ma'am, paano po pag gumawa ako ng sarili kong rubric? Paano po malalaman kung ang rubric na ginawa ko ay tama o mali? So, I will present to you the rubric for constructing rubrics. Pwede niyong ipakita to sa colleague niyo or sa master teacher or sa principal. Ma'am, paki-measure niyo po yung ginawa kong rubric. This is original teacher made. Pwede niyong isubmit yan sa amin sa CID kasi we will validate. Then I will test kasi this kind of rubric to my class and I will record the progress of my learner using this rubric. Huh? Well, if that is, then that's already a research. Okay, so pinalawak mo na dimension. So first criteria, alignment with specific learning outcomes. Unang-una yan, is it aligned to the MELC? Pangalawa, appropriateness of the structure type of the rubric. Ano bang ginamit niya? Analytic ba or holistic? Parang mas maganda holistic dito, hindi analytic. So you give appropriate score. Next, accurate leveling of performance. Kailangan alam mo kung anong klaseng performance ang mini-measure mo. Is it writing performance? Is it a play? Yan. The classroom assessment resource book will offer you a lot of examples of rubrics. Okay? Halimbawa, for different formative assessment. Let's say gumamit ka ng drama, gumamit ka ng essay, gumamit ka ng interview. Yan, yung mga ganyang klaseng rubric or gumawa ka ng isang authentic assessment. How to make a tie-dye using different colors. Yan. So, you have to make sure that the level of performance is really accurate. Okay, so may level of performance sa writing, may level of performance sa iba-ibang tasks. Of course, the range of points allocated to each level of performance. Okay? So, kailangan maliwanag kung ilang puntos ang content, ilang puntos ang ganito, ilang puntos ang ganon. Baka mas maraming puntos ang audience impact. Pang-add lang siya. So, kayo din bahalang mag-determine nun. Okay? Basta mahalaga ang rubrics nyo will be related to your objective. Okay? Are we going to move on? Okay, so much for rubrics, right? So if you want to know, to get deeper into rubric, make your own rubric because experiential learning is always the best. Followed by self-assessment. I-measure ko nga itong rubric ko sa rubric of rubrics. Yan. Hindi pa ako, na-measure ko na, nakita ko, okay naman siya, pasok sa 5 principles. Pero kailangan i-test ko to sa type ng learners ko. Tinest mo sa class A, hindi ka pa confident. Tinest mo sa class B, hindi ka pa rin confident. Tinest mo dun sa class na medyo challenging, sa class C. Ayan, if you arrive at the same result, then you are already making an authentic assessment. Ayan. So it's a teacher-made authentic assessment which can be followed up by a nice research. Okay. The next question is Char. Miss Serafine Molina, Mr. Serafine Molina, Miss or Mr. Okay, yes. Are they really doing it? Of course. Only God knows. But I'm just introducing this to you so that kasi in this new normal, why is rubric a part of DO31? Because it will give a clear perspective on both the child and the teacher on how is he or she be graded. Yan. Okay, sir? Correct daw. Okay, so next is apply techniques in giving feedback. Which is specific on the specific assessment activities. Okay? So, itong feedback, lagi ng laman to ng talk from day one. But what's most important is that the feedback should be accurately done because I know that you teachers have all the power in your words to influence the child's future. Okay? Whether kung anong klaseng future yon, whether doom or die. Or whether it is productive future or not. Okay? Kasi kayo ang tinitingnan ng mga bata. Lahat ng sabihin nyo tama. Alam ko yan, magulang ako. Ako supervisor ako. Pero ang mga teachers ng anak ko, mas magagaling kaysa sa akin. Kasi mas pinaniniwalaan sila ng mga bata. So, ang teacher, they have the certain influence na parang pag tinitingnan ng bata, parang si Jollibee. Parang, si teacher, yan na, yan na, yan na. Alam mo, magpakita lang kayo sa camera, ayan na si teacher. Parang, ayan na si teacher. Ayan, parang love na love kayo ng mga bata. I'm speaking with the elementary learners, how about sa high school? Sana ganun din ang charisma nyo, no? Na parang napakagwapo at ganda nyo. Pero that's the influence that we have. That's why when we say things to our children, make sure that the words that come out of our mouth should be something that will give life. That's why we have techniques, okay, of giving effective feedback. By the way, I'm going to introduce two characters, si Teacher Carrie at si Candy. They are both from Microsoft Office 365 na meron tayo. Yun. Click on icons. Yan. Yan. So, okay. Yes, Ms. Patricia Tabago, feedback drives improvement. I'll give you 2 points. Okay? So, criticism is like rain. It should be gentle enough to nourish a man's growth without destroying his roots. Okay, so it's very important that the feedback should be something that is subtle. It should be something that is nourished. Do not give a feedback that will really destroy or uproot a certain root. Kasi tayo ang nagbibigay ng root sa bata. Yung hindi nakikita ng mga tao, but the dimension of the root is strong. Okay? Yes, Miss Madel, it's something that can inspire them. I'll give you 2 points. Miss Leonila Flores, constructive criticism, 2 points. Okay, so that's by Frank A. Clark. Okay, so you have to give feedback. When are you going to give feedback? Okay? You have to give feedback as soon as possible after assessment. Huwag niyo sasabihin na ang feedback, ay, ngayon, ay yung ginawa mo dati nung nakaraan, yun yung sinasabi ko. Hindi yung ngayon, yung nakaraan pa, last week, yung ginawa nyo. Parang, ang feedback kailangan immediately after the activity. Kasi hindi na matatandaan. Okay? So, provide specific oral or written constructive feedback directly related to a learner's performance. Okay? Directly related to a learner's performance, which means it is something that's verifiable through our senses. Nakita ko ba? Naamoy ko ba? Naramdaman ko ba? Kasi para ma-verify kung tama yun o hindi. Hindi po pwedeng sasabihin mo, your performance is good. Very good. Laging ganon. Hindi pwedeng ganon. You should have a substitute for the word good. It's something that is descriptive to what you see inside the class. Hanggang dun lang ang parameter. So provide feedback that identifies the learner's strength and highlights areas of improvement. Like the sandwich method. Yes, Alvin Delo 05 Gmail. An honest and well understood self-assessment will be helpful in terms of assessing our students. So that's 2 points. Why? You don't need to sugarcoat. Hi, hindi pwede yung bubulayin mo yung bata because you wanted to improve or the performance. No, you cannot do that. It should be something that is authentic. You have to identify. So may process yan. Parang sandwich. Positive, negative, positive. Simulan mo sa positive feedback. Lagyan mo ng negative and then something positive. So highlight the areas of improvement. Okay? Congratulations, you are able to make your own paragraph. Wow, you have 5 paragraphs. Okay, I hope that these paragraphs are all authentic, no? Let me just catch you in this sentence. Yeah, this sentence, I think I Google it up from the internet. When you catch something from the internet, you have to make sure to acknowledge the source or paraphrase. Sige nga, I will help you. So this is how I do it. Ayan. By Robert and Or according to Professor Robert of Harvard 2012, blah, 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 pasok mo yon. Yan. Tapos lagyan mo ng sarili mong analysis. Yan. So that's how you paraphrase. O di hindi na tayo nag-intellectual property rights. Hindi na tayo copyright. Okay? So we have to provide feedback that identify the learner's strength also at the end. But all in all, your sequence of sentences really support the main idea, and that is what I like. Nasa ng negative? Nasa gitna. Areas of improvement. Okay? Nakakatuwa po kayo magbigay ng example. Bakit nagutom ka sa sandwich? Yan. Okay? So that's how to do it. Okay? Yan. So hindi nila ramdam that you're looking at the weakness. Ayan. You have to capitalize on how you see the strength. Okay? So give hints on how to improve. Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina. Help learners give feedback to their peers using assessment criteria and rubrics during peer assessment activities. That's very, very important. Okay? Kailangan, wag yung ahayaan na yung kaklase ang magbigay ng feedback kung walang rubrics. Kasi kailangan doon lang sa dimension ng ganon. Doon mo tuturuan ng bata to help each other. You're building collaboration skills if that is the case. Okay? May guidelines tayo dyan. Wait lang. Okay? So provide learners with opportunities to learn and relearn again. Okay? Yeah, Mr. Serafin, the examples given are authentic and real life. Very good daw ako. I'll give you 2 points. Okay. Use words that communicate respect to the learners and their works for self-reflection in self-assessment activities. That's the ultimate goal. Kailangan ma-realize ng bata how to self-assess. Yung honest evaluation ng kung saan siya magaling, kung saan siya hindi magaling. Kasi yun ang nature ng tao, di ba? Everyone is assessed on multiple angles, on different lenses. Merong mga bias assessment, may mga assessment na mabilis. So, kailangan maproseso ng bata paano tumanggap ng feedback. Yan. Yung feedback na medyo negative, yung feedback na medyo positive. Okay? So, positive pa rin lagi. Okay? So, let's give you one technique. This is oral feedback. So you can talk with the individual learner about his or her performance so that the learner will be able to identify his or her strengths and weaknesses. Kailangan kausapin mo siya. Okay? Yes, I like this. I gave positive feedbacks to the works and attitudes of the pupils and even to the parents. Then I gave suggestions after instead of negative feedbacks. Very good. So you can also use Ma'am Marian Vasquez. I'll give you 2 points. You can also use sandwich method. Positive, negative, and then positive. Okay? So yun yung tinatawag na constructive criticism. A simple tap in the back, hindi natin sila matatap sa back kasi bawal nga natin silang hawakan sa new normal. So sa DO31, syempre lahat ang gagamitin natin yung power ng ating medium, which is of the words that comes out of our mouth, and the words that we have written will serve as feedback to our learners. Okay? Yun ang natin, yun ang challenge natin. We are separated by distance. Kaya yung tactile method, although I find it very, very effective, but it's not applicable in the new normal anymore. Okay? Sige nga, tap nyo sarili nyo. Yan, parang ganyan. Okay, so that's oral feedback. Okay? Make sure that if you conduct an oral feedback, kayo lang dalawa. Okay? Walang makakaalam na kaklase. Kasi, alam niyo yun, magkakaroon ng comparison. Okay? Paano man pag ang dami? Di ganito gawin mo. Pag if you have class feedback, sige, you have to gather the strengths, common strengths, gather the common areas of improvement, and then deliver in class. So that the children will know that the common areas that they need to improve on. Okay? Yan. Yan. Now, if the issue is how to perform a certain skill, of course, I also go for explicit, my goodness, class. I also go for explicit. Yung I do, we do it together. You do, we do it together. You have to show the sample of work. Okay? Pag nagbigay ka ng task, ikaw muna yung unang sumagot. Para may model. O sige, class, this is how I do it. Okay? Bakit? Kasi ikaw ang model ng performance. Huwag kang magpapagawa ng ini-imagine nila. Kasi hindi nila ma-imagine kasi iba-iba yung klase ng imagination ng bata. Kailangan you have to go for visual aspect. Sige class, this is how to do it. Okay? Yan. I have the okay, let's try to do a certain let's try to develop the paragraph. Sige nga, try to write the words. Come on, give me the words. The phrases. Yan. Yan. Among these words and phrases, which one doesn't help in the main idea? Or let's flash it. Yan. And let's do it. Okay? So this is how I do it, ha? You deliver the main idea. The first is the first sentence that supports the main idea. You need connector. Also, yan. Second, third, and of course, you need the concluding paragraph. Fourth, ganun ka-simple class. Kaya na? Oh, sige nga, try natin. Ganun. You have to do the tasks. Okay? So, yan. Ma'am, paano po pag yung I want to measure the progress. Of course, the ICT will help us, yung Google Forms. Especially the Google document, it has a part where you do annotation live. Ayun, annotation live. So ibig sabihin no, nakikita ng bata kung ano yung areas of improvement na kailangan mo pa nilang ayusin sa Google Form. Meron din namang Google Sheet. Meron din namang sa Google Docs, pwede kang mag-drawing, di ba? Sige nga, let's form a house together, collaboratively make a house together using the different shapes. Okay, ma'am. O sige, si Joseph, he's the one who made the foundation, which is rectangle. Okay, Anna made the roof. Oh, very good. What is the shape? It's a triangle. So, yung mga ganong klase. So, real life feedback. Okay? Yes, private comment in Google Classroom will also do. That's good. Okay? Now, sa written feedback, of course, you have to give descriptive feedback. Wag yung feedback na adjectives. It should be feedback that describes or narrate what you have seen, heard in the assessment process. Okay, so use words to suggest and say improvement. It's just the same. But make sure that when you write feedback, write legibly, ha? Huwag yung mag-feedback na kayo para kayo nagdadala ng reseta ng doktor. So peer feedback is also applicable, okay? First, you just have to make sure that there is criteria of the performance. So let the learners use the criteria in answering the checklist in order to give feedback to the peers, okay? Ito lang, it should be answerable by these two. Does the work or performance meet the criteria? Okay? What can be done to improve the work or performance? Tuturuan mo sila kung paano mag-peer feedback. Ayan. Nasundan po niya kung paano gumawa ng isang robot. Kaya lang, mai-improve niya po ito sa pamamagitan ng sa documentation niya po, kailangan yung conclusion na nakakasagot po sa statement of the problem. Kasi po yung conclusion na ginawa niya, hindi nasa statement of the problem. Yun lang naman po. Pero all in all, maganda po yung performance. So parang ganun. So you are teaching the child how to really assess. Yun ang mahalaga eh. They have to really learn to assess themselves. Okay? Yan. And of course, to give guidance or feedback for the others. Okay? Ayan, self-assessment. Why is mommy included in the self-assessment? Okay, so of course, the assessment at home should not be assessment of the parent. It's the self-assessment of the child to his or her work. Si parent guide lang siya. Okay? Ang ituturo mo sa magulang is how to guide. Sige nga anak, sa tingin mo, ano pa yung kailangan mong i-improve na kulay dyan para mas maging mas colorful yung drawing mo? Mami, sa tingin ko, kailangan ayusin ko ito, balitan ko ng ganitong color. Sige, tingnan natin. Mami, maganda ba? Huwag ka sasagot kung maganda hindi. Sa tingin mo. Yan. That is how to feedback. Sa tingin mo, maganda? Mami, maganda, kaya lang, ganon. So, wag yung ang pagsintensya nanggaling sa bibig ng magulang. Dapat sa bata. That's how you teach holistic behavior. Okay? Yes, Jason, it is highly encouraged that the parents or caregivers give feedback to the teachers regarding the home instruction observation. Very good. So it depends also on your communication with your parents. I'll give you 2 points for this. Okay? Uh, yes. Serafin Molina, there is power in feedback. If it's positive or negative, it does not matter, so as long as it is done positively. Use the sandwich method. Yung kitang-kita nila na hindi mo sila binubola. Kasi yung magsimula ka sa positive, hanapan mo ng positive yung ginawa ng bata, saka mo ipasok yung areas of improvement, at saka yung i-end it with the strength. Okay? Now, the DO31, if you're going to see DO31 Annex F, it gives you the level model feedback, which begins with tasks. Ano yung ginawa ng batang tama? Tama ba yung sagot niya? Paano siya naka-arrive ng tamang sagot? So, proseso. Paano siya makakagawa ng tamang sagot in the future pa? Sa iba-ibang context. So, self-regulation. Tapos, kapag mali, anong mga dapat niyang gawin para maging tama yung mali niyang ginawa? Okay? Paano niya pa mai-improve ang sarili niya in the future? So, self-regulation. Merong diagram yan. So, if you're going to open Annex F, you will see how it works. Okay? So, remediation, just like what mentioned in our former speakers, should be done when there are consistent row scores. So, summative assessment by the 5th week of any quarter. This will prevent a student from failing in any learning area. However, we have to make sure that the remediation should be done immediately. So the gap will never be widened. Kaya tayo nagkakaproblema sa reading eh. Kasi kulang pa sa phonemic awareness, nilagyan niyo muna ng, itines mo na yung comprehension, eh hindi niya pa nga mabasa. So lalaki ng lalaki ang gap, lalaki ang problema. Hanggang umabot ng high school, hindi pa rin nakakabasa. Ganon din sa math. Yung 4 fundamental operations, hindi mo pa masyadong na-structure, tapos biglang darating ng high school, nag-algebra na yung bata. Sus Mariose, parang ako nakaluluka ako pag algebra na. Okay? So, and of course, on the aspects of, ma'am, it's so difficult on the part of the parent to teach physics. Yes, physics is everywhere. Look at the things around you, the bed, the remote control of your TV, the microphone, the microwave oven, by the beam lights, everything, the stairs, everything has physics on it. 'Di ba? So ilalapit mo siya sa dimension na mararamdaman ng parent. Lahat, mami, ngayon ituturo ko sa inyo, mami, kung paano i-compute yung physics para mas madaling maintindihan. Para pag ang bata ay nagtrabaho na, makikita niya yung importansya nitong physics content na to sa kanyang future na trabaho. Okay? So, yan, this is very important. Proper recording method, okay? It's the way of storing information. I told you it should be captured, okay? So there are different types. Number 1 is anecdotal. Okay, anecdotal, sulat lang. Kung ano yung performance ng bata, isusulat mo lang, na-capture mo lang. Because we have to understand that we have to feedback the parent on all angles. That's why we have to capture. Does group feedbacking applicable in class? Yes, just like what I told you, Clarissa, you have to gather areas of improvement and then gather also the strength. Yung common areas of improvement, common areas of strength. Kaso hindi mo sasabihin kung pangalan ng bata. Kailangan i-gather mo lang. O, ito yung mga common na tama na ginawa nyo. Ito yung mga common na kailangan nating ayusin pa. Una, yan. Pero hindi alam ng bata. So that's class feedback. Okay? So anecdotal record, because it's very important that you capture every evidence of growth. Nung gumawa kami ng ganitong output sa klase, nakita ko yung bata nakapagsalita ng magaling. So it's anecdotal record. Kasi we don't have photographic memory to record the achievement of the child. We can also use the class checklist. Ito yung performance. Sige, nakagawa siya. Check! Yan, ito yung mga written work. Actually, makikita nyo siya sa DO. Makikita nyo siya sa Classroom Assessment Resource Book. Yan, sa class grid. Sa class grid naman, it is represented by colors para kita mo yung mga batang i-remediate mo. Ito yung example ko. This is the checklist and this is the grid. What if a student keeps on trying to defend his work based on the rubric since he gets a low score? Well, you have to make sure that the student realize his mistakes first. Okay? If he's trying to defend his hand, then well and good, it's okay. At least he can defend. However, in the long run, if you're going to use another assessment method, you will see that if you're going to assess the child, it should be consistent judgment. Which means that, sige, dinefend niya ang sarili niya dahil sa rubric na ito. O another assessment pa. Another assessment pa. Pag pare-pareho, pag may problema, ibig sabihin, there's something wrong with how the child capture. Okay? Master Jericho, thank you very much. Okay? And he compares you to another classmate. That's the thing that you have to make sure to lessen comparison. No? We are but different individuals with different strengths. Okay, that's why it's very obvious that if you do the remediation, what's the right word for remediation? Something that's positive. Okay? Integration of skills, enhancement, ganyan. Para hindi nila na-feel na they are being remediated. Look at this grid. Yan. Yung mga green, ibig sabihin yan, ay, na-perform na nila yung task. Pero yung mga red, ay, naku, yun yung mga kailangan kong i-remediate. So, yan yung class grid, okay? Visual and audio record is very important to capture using this medium. In my speech and oral communication class, when I was still teaching, I used the video presentation of a child in an interview before my class. Sa diagnostic test. Interview ko lang sila, interview. Mineasure ko using the rubrics. Then, in the middle of my class, na middle period na, nag-progress test ako. Then, exit. Tapos, binidyo ko, nakita ng magulang yung difference ng how the child performs in the diagnostic, in the middle, and in the exit. So, ibig sabihin, may learning. So, you can also use this medium. But you have to make sure not to upload in the internet, or otherwise, you will be caught under the data privacy. Okay? So portfolio, it was mentioned, but it's very important source of all the information of the child. So make sure that the portfolio should be capitalized in the new normal. Okay, the class record is also important. We have e-class record, but for the safety of the record keeping process, we should have also the actual record using the normal class record that's not computerized. Okay? And of course, this is an example of a learning activity, assessment activity. Ma'am, bakit gagawin ko pa ba yan? Hindi. Gabay lamang sila. Hindi mo kailangan gamitin to. Pero pag gumawa ka ng assessment activity, yan, ito yung guide mo. Ito pa, anong klaseng recording method yung ginamit ko, anong klaseng feedback, anong reflection ko. Yan, it will guide you in research. Okay? To improve learning, you have to do it together with your other teachers. Okay? Teachers need to use assessment for a corrective instruction. Okay? So, in the classroom assessment resource book, we have activities or assessment for gifted and talented learners and even for challenged learners. So, we have inclusive assessment. Okay? And then, in the professional meeting, you have to make sure to capitalize on this data so that it will help you arrive at a better remediation, group remediation. Kaya dinidiscuss yung assessment among the teachers eh. Kaya isinasama siya sa lock session eh, kasi na-highlight sa klase kung ano yung mga magagandang assessment within your own grade level para naman matulungan niyo yung ibang teachers. Okay? So, teachers must not sacrifice curriculum coverage due to time allotment for corrective instruction. Okay? So, you have to make sure that the feedback and the remediation should be immediate, very short, para hindi niya makukuha yung buong aspect ng learning. Okay? So, it should not be a do or die process, the assessment. Hindi mo isang beses lang in-assess, yun na yung grade nila. Hindi. Kaya nga we have multiple way on how to assess. So a mistake can be the beginning of learning. That's very good. The child should acknowledge his or her own mistake for improvement. Okay, so teachers must use classroom assessment to provide individualized assistance to learners. If in this new normal, it's very important psychologically that you nourish each child mentally, one step at a time. Kailangan kahit papaano bigyan ng oras kada isang bata. Okay? Hindi naman araw-araw. Pero sa buong semestre o sa buong taon, kailangan ma-reach out mo man lang ang mga bata mo individually para makita nila na talagang, kasi that's what's important in this new normal eh. Yung mental, psychological support that everything is doing well and we are going to go back to normal. Don't worry, we will see each other again in the future. And then you have to coach and mentor the child. Ay hindi, sabihin mo sa magulang hindi pwedeng mag-post po sa FB, lalo pag walang consent ng ibang magulang. Yun. Pakisabi sa magulang yung mga ganyang bagay. Madali nila man nila intindihan yun eh. Wala lang silang ma-post. Bawal i-post. Sabihin mo. Okay? So, we have to make sure that the data is data-driven. We have to create a culture where data of assessment is really analyzed, there's action, and you have to make sure that you have a culture where data from assessment will be used as guide for future policies. Okay? So remember, when we assess learners who are future doctors, learners who will discover the cure for cancer, learners who will look for ways on how are they going to survive in a country where there's peace, progress, etc. So learner is something that is impactful on the life of the students. So we have to make sure that assessment should be congruent to learning. Okay? So I hope that with that, keep safe everyone, and let us learn to assess our learners using multiple dimensions. Salamat!